the new patriotic party. I'm in trouble.
How?
Because about 12 years, they are national crown executives from the in the Sabra, as I said, states, and no Enya Quenya, no Mutimia, the executive, to be. Now, I have said also, my who said is Wadi who do say, instead of 5, it be a bit trim. I mean, the Padua bed up to our polling station. And could do a brow be able to be. Anya Ukraine, I see a Bemukesi, not delegates now, or more polling station, a Dawson. Not all executives at the polling station, district, constituency executive, regional executive, national, former executives, women in answering a Quenya, no saying, or team to be near Trimuni, Padu, party, everyone who had a shimbi. Now, your party will come across here, so Passant really a strongholding. Who's a cook will be swat. Will be over beyond remember. Who how Coswa? We are a young bed team depending on who crossing. Yeah, I come crossing. Okay. Omu papa. Ah, Mufi say, party in near dear. In Tian Denny, you could ye any party a year near day. Yankan. A drones who would do baby. Now, Omura who say, a nipper 5 no a yomas in change. Emma almost so intimate day, ain't threat on my dream. Now 5 who could near. I don't know, dear, do about yes, I did a book room of it. What did you and do the inner here? Would be you may die in that trouble. And I'm Intino, a bed Brian, say a bed room. A many Padona, and said American. Say it me and she say you would do a bed bought a batron who bind dear. As a son could be or your member be at me a day. A trouble. Name who free in term. Airport senior. Mujaba. In the Sauber court, Sir Quantum Ponoswa, and she said, no, as a weird day, a do, and canka in crew accuracy. In Crass said the Oka will be any. With the voter register, national register, will be banned when you go as a boy. You be away from it. Now, so I could do Medina. Now we'll juvenile register. Obi say ni fi ebe na aka say do onye bia unimu bia entino ehun hyehyeye no na esi ehwe na etimi ekoyie den e mai na nso anya yi kura mpanimfu adi party so dada wo ha no odi ya onum memi di secretary federal na adwuma ma ye nso na ye to aba me nka ho eya entino wa bre no ho pa na wa boa party no nyame aye na dum no ote ase yi de adan ni ntimi mfa ne nka ho no no so ontimi ento aba ne bi enkyere na dwen na enyi obi a party ni nyina akomemu no obetimi adan adi anim ne ko duru ebra ye to aba na omu nyina asori akasa ye beboa ama nkunimdi nso aba ama party no enya nkunimdi a ye hwehwe ususu se saa for na wo munya kwan ento saa ba yi bi no wo mu amememfe e kan obi ntina nipa dodo na nkoto aba na na o ani de mintimi kan sa okay mintimi kan sa me gidi say your party for no de e den say den ya okwakoto wonyi ntumu say mo party for na nkoto aba no me can executive now we can former executive amememfe aha na we can say former executive there enye say bia won to aba bia mu ni ntimi e could do general election now say men to fi say me former executive a delegate me be me free okay all right now one of the issues in so a party for ni be ka say e kotia mo near obi be ka say leadership bias e wo mo constitution no say we ye party executive na contest ba enyiwani mu nyina obi national, regional, and constituency level. To the extent that more flag bearer primaries are more core, I am a oral and Chematin free party no mono. Among Fonsus, you say people were whipped in line. There was candidate and a system in a pair. And now one more force will be a certain line. And no ma. Executives ni bi nso na wo mu ndi omo they had to also show face to support that particular candidate. A kwan ben na
ususu se party ni betimi esisa de na no kwan executives enyi wo mo animu entai candidates achi.
Oh, minia, there me no say party mpanimfo eduru omo ye omo afamu de ewo bibia ho asabre let be tin say yemie abatro ekwan
obi anya campaign ansa
enti yesua efri ni etwamu ni tim de hye enema pa ema yem party ni etwamu bi e torch ya me gidi se party ye kɔ anim no ye be fa dream asi epo a ebetimi aboan ne party no nya ne ntoma pa efra obi bia enema bi ankoyie no ne party no ho do ene Ghana da chinti no si jai ne nyina kan ye ho bomu a na ye toato adwene a emrepa beba mo bia
eye no krese mu anamo ya appointees no you are equipped in line to support Dr. Baumia.
No
enye no kre
me mo obi an wepo me
obi an wepo what the
aba bia obi
ono bo ebre na ye be batamanfo so bopono no
EpaHoaDaben ti sinupi na no kre eye ba ko pe.
Baby, when you say first na ye binimu ye shut down pe politics. Ye say politics for no man your money and munye. But na mumu binimu so nti enyina ye ni agi say ye beboa ma o man na koso. Na ebo 1 o'clock pe na wa ye lawyer ma o man na lawyer for enyina pon akofia koda. Nyamisho.
So yeah, open. Da 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 da. Oh my God, ye. Oh my ibitu kona. Every enara. Memo akwaba o. Eba Ghana kasefidie ba kopeso. Yedini happy. Na yetu ni etataya. Yedi enije ni nimdie nenam. Eno ne yen sama edin a yede boye ho samomu anameboa ifia ha de unim dia wontimi ntina ha bi ana enije ni umu so wontimi ntina ha because ha no obi enu ho ba mu ani age wo se wo happy wo ho anya sa o rebe ho I am very happy keke. We live by the name. We are self-motivated. The risk cancer near your juma. Ye juma no. Sani ye tie. Today be ye ni aje. We say how we have college and the bottom nya so ni aje. Wasre sa. Security for when him bottom nya so when ni aje sa. Joyce nebe wasre sa no hair mask ni sagu ni ti so wasre obi ani papa wo next weekend ye kwakwa na ye Esu nani agisa. Esa ne say yedin ene happy. Sa happiness no ewie me bon pa say bi bebo wura wakoma mu. Ene wa brabo. Because we bring it into your homes. Medine Bismark Brown obetimi afra me bibi. Mani so mani je me ahohoaho a se da biara da. Me ba wa kwan mu besomo. Me de oman komo besomo. Me de interviews ahodo somo. Me biabia nsem ani sunso de mawo. Na me da wase. Se onfa ne se me ye wasomu dede. Na momo no ubio radio. Ofa phone. Call laptop, so call computer, so now we're logging on Facebook Live. Now we're joining in with Jumedio, so Medasi Bebre, so any sama man. I dread that Kosifiada. You are a partner in this business, and I appreciate you. And then we are so young to us, say, Beton Safro, join me live on Facebook. Now, young Fene Gun and Komono and Shisha so. Now watching Sembebre a chair good. Also, Yawofa Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Jenana Opoku Ajiman, Obadi Adaroma, Yamamia Beka and San Juanimu, Yamana Kwaba. Na woman pie boni omususu ye ne sanka because we are say ya woni onipa bi a womo mpa de pa ya onipa bi o wiase mu hanomu a se ne nyonko ho ka adwa mu ana ne nyonko ho kire no ana mpokura mpo se wo bi yade ana nani age ana se onkofo okromu hanomu a Vice President yari o mo pie bo ne sanka bo ma back eye no krepa. For Ghana Hanomwa, they prayed silently in their hearts. Yawani pebu wa abrabo we Ghana Hanomwa. Omon padepa. They were silently wishing and praying. So Vice President and come on my back. Obin pai bokra ne sank won kampam wani ewu amaso atamfo nhihye ne atamfo nsusu yamba mu wadi Vice President abeka yensa ebekọ so bompaye so obade nyankropon ka no hono mo no ho ban ba maame mampani efuto no de ma woni tie Dr. Foso ho de ne lebom take it easy. Enye ni panyina ne pewa pom din o maame. Enti take it easy. Na wakwa ba kura obi bompa ye so obi asma kan se ebesa ba bi obwa. Onyame mane mpangu. Wish your leaders well. Pray for them. Encourage them and criticize them. Saani ade no. Na nyesa be criticize wo nko a. Na wa wish wo mu bad. Abompa yes wo manimu mu ase. Abompa yes wo mu wo nyare. Wish them well. Oso ya wofa. Na watchi asem kase baako a ede ahim AMB congestion exercise and it appears to say AMB nkwa na yebo, but there are a good number of other assemblies na watchi nso so omoye decongestion exercise ibi Kole Clote Municipal Assembly ayebi circle ene menam circle ho say chale pavement no so na da ho yi One say nam circle o free aye new plant station. O dem am fambra kompo besi be to say pedestrian shopping mall aye pedestrian market na ewo ho no. Sa pavement na ewo pedestrian market na nimu a besia kofa GCB Towers anim ho nyina. Unse say nam sa pavement no so on both the left and the right side of the pavement amanfo ahyedwa wo ho ene so du wono mo abehunu se kole klotefo apamo wono mo a wo mo ewo eye at the side of the pavement a ben lorry kwan no obayi mu nyina free ho amene emu ada ho fine na akase ebe ya ebe saa da bia Okankwe South Municipal Assembly so ewo so wo mo ho Kaneshim potem ho say omo ya adwuma nra wo ho pa Ekopam Prom Junction ho nyina omo ya adwuma wo ho pa na watwi we nso sie em se fiada de eya na watwe ensem ni nyina na ye bɔ no tofa na ye biemu asane mu se be ya onso ne wantimi ankyere wadwene wo ho na watwe onso atimi aba ba kyere wadwene na saa na watwe ya nso ena oti se eye the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, indeed, the suspended Chief Justice of the Republic. We enye obi na ye. We dey onu ankasa. Now, it is interesting because near air koso no quite unprecedented. For the first time, you have a Chief Justice all appear before a court. For the first time, you have a Chief Justice not just appearing before a court, but appearing before her own court, the Supreme Court. You have a Chief Justice. Mene woka say, ebi see that going before Onwane colleagues to seek justice. The Chief Justice is seeking justice. Interesting times, yeah. Now what Chief Justice at the Onunso ne petition to Supreme Court anymore, seeking a number of reliefs. I'll get you some details now. Sana watchi munsu na adenta kumi NIB for kwachi no ahimachi a person of interest. Ono so the petition come His Excellency the President. Say committee awatie say wo probi a Chief Justice. Allegations aya tia no. Committee no aya compromise. Na watchi sase mi pie enra ena CCTV footage bi nso betodwa ostensibly buttressing allegations adenta kumiye. But following that, Ahemachi, we've been told he's been picked up by NIB officials. Now what we now watching so ya disi dini dollar na hun komo papa trying to find near money reasons Emma City no enya hoden against even not just the dollar but major trading currencies. Erewe yebedi sam komo eni abo sam komo nyina da. Sana watchi anso ye di dum so ho nkomo. Members of the minority, I say omo per a load shedding timetable. Ministry of Energy said that. And then I say omo per a timetable. Now what you di ho nkomo. And now we are into a Twagan and Common Sonia wrap it up and someone a dear him. Na what you nyina da You want to join us this afternoon live on Facebook? Nefa wadwen kyerɛ bra enkyɛn so sɛnea wuni mu no amamre ne kyerɛ efiada ebie phone lines no ɛto hɔ ɛma okwan na watwe mu nsɛm a wantimi ankyerɛ wadwene wɔ watimi aba na wode wadwen kyerɛ na ba Collins link ne wɔ he share the link over Facebook live ma mente wonka menye silent observer comment na memo akwaba me modini me nchia wo me recognize wo it takes a lot to watch live shows on social media. Data board nimpa sa asem no se hwe ne ka data board edini e wo Ghana ha pa Rasam George wo ho de o complain ye dede fa data board ho anda madam Eslowusu o ba ye 5 months ni ministers ni bi ekeka wo mo ho wo so wo mo ho a yahunu adwuma wo mo afiase communication minister Honorable Sam George Ghana for her wanimu wo shebo say data board eso beti akwesi say data board ni inti obomoden na join in live stream no so a masade say e was sem chia na me recognize you na me acknowledge your presence on our show. We me da wase bebre so join Musa Abattoir. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Coleman Sapila 2, I see you. Potassium 1, you are here as well. Pacho bra na me ye nyina ye hyase na ye hwesene na wotwe no ye kɔ na wie ye no ye be wrap it up on the issues and every. Na ade bi asia ma mani ka papa sa mo be kai se na wotwe me ne former education minister the Honorable Dr. Yawose Duchum Ediashia, and I've been playing back some of the aspects of the conversation. Holy Danke, thanks for joining us. Holy Danke, or say I am always glued here. Thank you, my brother. Over Facebook Live, my mento wonka. Member hekeke. My mento wonka no mechi ma mo akwaba. Send your Holy Danke aye. Musa Abattoir Mensa Pillar 2 ni Potassium 1. When you comment to read, and Musa Abattoir said it's quite telling that in a country with over 5,000 qualified lawyers, the suspended Chief Justice has chosen Godfred Dame, who has himself been embroiled in controversy, including being caught on tape, allegedly attempting to compromise key witnesses. Isn't that curious? This choice alone raises serious questions about the integrity of the defense and the entire process. Some of the reliefs being sought in the petition appear to be legal gymnastics designed to stall and derail the course of justice. Any Musa Abattoir, the opening message where they can ede aba. Mensa Pillar 2 so joining live on Facebook with a birthday wish, and Mensa Pillar 2 says, "Happy birthday to my only daughter Sheila Iadom, student of Accra Technical University." I say, "Ma'am, long life and prosperity." Or the amen aka be e de aka ho de amane ba no Mensa Pillar 2 of Dom Kwabenya no de aba o se wo wehye ono ankasa ne baba Sheila Iadom a oye osuku ni e Accra Technical University. A happy birthday na otoaso de kase obo mpaye so obo de Nyankopon be ma no kwatentene a ahoden eni yedie ewo mu Potassium 1 and so joining live on Facebook. Or say good afternoon, baby. Baumier's idea making the CD appreciate under the NDC government is like a Dubois giving money to opposition NDC party to help beat the NPP when they were in power. How can a serious political party behave in such indecisive manner? In fact, or say this super incompetent, infinitesimal mini micro minority NPP shall remain in opposition na or say till thy kingdom come. And he continues to say, my regards to Honorable Rita Awate, Eastern Regional Minister, and Honorable Dr. Albert Tete Nyakote, MP for Yulu Krobo constituency, as well as the Honorable Francis Ado Akumate, MCE Yulu Krobo Municipal Assembly. Nti Muhammadi kind of messages abano me they will say ayo edi me boshe so makan kind of mamo. You want to also join us with your thoughts, your comments, any views on issues I would why twegu na what we nada ye be more. But the interesting thing for me is eniema ekoso with regards to the suspension of the Chief Justice and the quest of 3 Ghanaians say ye be na ye Chief Justice no e free the Juma so. Now, there have been very, very interesting developments. Efasa Assembly home. Now, senior Assembly tiano. There are several angles and legs of processes now. Asha said that to get the Chief Justice out of office. Now, medical can say near air kosunina eye. The air kosunina about the Chief Justice ni removal no eye
EpaHoaDaben
patroti miye menka se me support nipa miensa na omosi ye ni Chief Justice ni free ho me se ne ekoso efa ni removal no ho agreement a ekoso court processes amanfo afile and all the arguments ne political shenanigans and nam ho any commentary a ekosu nyina ni nyina kan bomu a eye pa eye na ne ye no so no ne na nso bi nso bata ho as oman e wo se ye bie ye ni na ye hwe ye constitution ni ye na ye hwe kwan a ye be fa so a ye be ensure say the 3 arms of government womo ebedi womo hu yia de womo hu mapa na womo ankwankoye appendages of the executive.
FM 98.9
Matise nipa bebre ka se anka Chief Justice removal idea anka ensesa anka ye partisan ensese partisanship ebem I was say anka a purely legal process and I was say koso I was say activity na koso ni nyina no purely grounded in law without the usual noise, political and partisan noise no. Because you see, this is the very first time aban bi enya a petition. Menka say aban bi eyi. Aban bi receive a petition. Enya the first time aban bi receive, I think I should say that way. Enya the first time aban bi receive a petition say yenyi Chief Justice in free wo.
Happy FM.
But this is the first time aban bi receive a petition for the removal of the Chief Justice a graduate through the processes to the stage ene yeba betie ensemunimu yie ni esi hu konwa ni ahwese prima facie case na ya establish no emu edene emu odu eyi Chief Justice ni free ho ebeye yie anase emu nyedu. This is the first time ya graduated through the processes ya dum pempenso ya establish a committee to probe the Chief Justice and if possible have her removed. Now it is good for our democracy. Your democracy is still evolving. Your constitution has not been tested that much. Some few aspects of your constitution have been tested. Depending on the Supreme Court over any appreciation of aspects of the constitution over the years since 1992 the constitution way by. But on the whole, there are so many aspects of your constitution here some challenge, some testing to ensure say provisions na a constitution ni mu no ebetimi stand the test of time depending on circumstances ahodo a ebeba as we move on. Enti a very useful exercise. Say yetimi ananti mu abedu saa empempenso yi. Now I am quite elated. Say mampani a wote akonya so besi ne won to mre bia efa the removal of the Chief Justice. Where Article 146 a chere kwan a mampani no senensaka petition na onfanfa so besi ne mampani no edisa enhyehyeye ni nyina so. People had disagreements and issues with aspects of processes no say na mampani di so ebi mu akọ Supreme Court akọ challenge ama Supreme Court no a make pronouncement on it wato sansem na gu aka say the president has not erred and there hasn't been any error with regards to any aspect of the processes. Me no ka say close to about 5 different petitions and appear Supreme Court anim seeking to challenge processes ni be any aspects of the processes. The Chief Justice and about the 6th petitioner is seeking to challenge processes, and even move a step further to attack some members of the committee are president, are set up. Nina kambom na enyimi na etwabre ni dua etwabre no edua ayade a harvest na nkasa no yebeyi ede free chafu ni mu enti besere Ghana for momo yenya ye ho abotere so ho na ye encourage one mo a omo ye involved in this matter, the petitioners themselves, the Chief Justice herself, the President, lawyers now omo involved. Let's encourage them to go through the process, because say yetimi go through the process na ye establish eye anase ye bokwan bia to ho a ebe guide yen going forward anytime sa removal of Chief Justice betimi asaba up 98.9. Enti process nankasa no will help the constitution evolve. Ebe buama yen democracy no so evolve na etimi enyini enya hodene, because ye kwaye nimu no we would come face to face with more complex circumstances say yan test constitution na ebedu wona hwe a ebetimi abun kama fire so, and we may have some crisis on our hands. Ne ekoso nyina nso so pointed to some weaknesses in aspects of the constitution. Constitutional Review Committee President Atie would have to avert their minds to some of the loopholes ever up as a result of some removal processes. I was saying a learning curve for minor. I was saying suahunu ani suade ema o minor na yetimi emiemia echinchim constitution no na furuma ene na fambidi na fambia eyemre emu agwo na ebetimi ede challenge ede abre eye oman no. Now what is intriguing is this interesting scenario aye babe hunu. Ene Chief Justice na only the custodian of justice pepreye ewo man ni mu no ohia justice ewiase ene abraba ye wo mu no ho emre Daniel emre Dane. Whoever thought say a debi beba ma a judge fo nyina panin a debi beba ma the head of the third arm of government ebe prese ohia justice. Whoever thought that one day the Chief Justice herself would appear before a court.
Happy FM 98.9.
And will be praying the court to give her justice. We are in very unique times. And the uniqueness of time now, ye woman, I was say ye take advantage of it. Na bibia was ye free mubia ye as a mine, so we don't miss the lessons that are coming. The Chief Justice for the first time is going to appear before Onoani colleagues. For the first time, she is going to appear before Onoani court. Eye nwanwa kakra meboa, but sana brabonetier. We are sitting back and we will watch how the justice system will treat the Chief Justice. Ye nyina betena chire na ye de ani ene yaso e de achira hwe sene the justice system or the Chief Justice o supervise na wo hwe so no e be treat the Chief Justice. It is a very significant issue. Students of politics and lovers of democracy, I will come back to this matter. There are a lot of things I will see a free moon. Na mebua won so am wetimi ehunu Chief Justice no ne nsem bi a ode ko Supreme Court ne adwenwene ho implications bi wo ho ma Ghana yen democracy no ekwan a ye fa so edis asem ihu nkomo na na. We'll come back to it, but me no we can say the Catholic Bishops Conference
FM 98.9.
President John Dramani Mahama nchen sisia me no we can say ewo Jubilee House. Omo de ensem bi akoto nanim cause omo ko pay a courtesy call on him. Na yenko Jubilee House sisia mra. Na yenko tie President John Dramani Mahama as he speaks to the Catholic Bishop Conference on the occasion of one courtesy caller or pay on him.
That's fine. So let me begin first with some of the issues. And the first is our democracy and governance. We started this democratic journey in 1992 with the adoption of the 1992 Constitution. And since then, we've held 9 elections. Parties have come into office and gone, others have come and gone. At the time we began the process in 1992, there was a very high expectation that finally we had come to the end of all the turbulence of revolving doors of coup d'etats and unconstitutional governance. And so hope was high in our people that with our return to democracy, we're going to enjoy what we call the democratic dividend, meaning that economic prosperity will be spread and everybody would have opportunity to gain the advantages that the country has to offer.
98.9.
From 1992 to date, different governments have come and gone. And like Reverend Jemfi said, if you look at the Afrobarometer surveys and the various opinion polls that have been published over the years, you would come to the realization that the bulk of our people had started getting disillusioned with our democracy. And there was a general loss of faith in our democracy. Now, I said last year during the campaign that Ghana is not immune from coup d'etats. We have seen it happen in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, and even though our democracy spans 30 years and over, it does not mean that we're immune from military interventions or unconstitutional disruptions of our democratic process. And so I said last year that perhaps we have the last opportunity to restore the faith of our people in our democracy. And of course, the elections came and went. and I received a very overwhelming endorsement with virtually 2/3 of Parliament, and a vote in the presidential election that was reminiscent of the Rawlings times. I mean, if you won elections in recent times, it was 53, 52%, but to go to 56.55% was reminiscent of the early days of our democracy. So what it meant was that Ghanaians had bought into the message that they believed that I would be able to reset things, and we use the word reset as one of our major campaign points, be able to reset things in order to build the confidence of our people in our democracy again. And so that responsibility is not lost on me. And so since 7th January, every step I've taken is meant to restore the faith of our people in our democracy and let them know that we can lead this country in a way different from what has been done in the past. And so to try to do this, one, the first and foremost was the cost of living and the general hardship that Ghanaians were going through. And so that has been one of the main focuses of the administration in the last 5 months we've been in office, focusing on stabilizing the economy, focusing on reducing hardship, cutting down expenditure, bringing more accountability into government, enacting a strong fight against corruption, introducing codes of conduct to guide leaders in political office. So these are all things that we have, focused on and fast-tracked in the last 5 months. And happily, we have seen a response to the work that we've done, especially when it comes to the economy and hardship and all that. And somebody says, point to one policy that you have implemented to make the CD appreciate. And I said, one policy. It's not about one policy. The answer is effective leadership. With effective leadership, we can turn this economy around and create a better life for our people. And that is what I'm committed to make sure that by the time we finish these 4 years, we'll set a standard in government that whichever party or whichever people come into governance cannot reverse the gains that we have made in restoring our people's confidence in our democracy. And so we'll continue to listen to the nuggets of wisdom that you give us, because it makes us better, it makes us stronger. It helps us to do what the Ghanaian people, have given us the mandate to do. And considering that you are with the people because you shepherd them at the grassroots, you are better able to give us feedback than when you are cocooned in the presidency and you don't have the opportunity to hear firsthand, what. Your congregations are saying. So I want to thank you for, this message. And I can assure you we'll take it and we'll look at it and we would implement some of the issues that you have said. With some that might require a little more dialogue between us and you in order that we get the optimum mode in which we can implement some of the things that you said. But since taking office, we also have been trying to hold people accountable for things that were done in the past, but at the same time with an eye to letting our own appointees know that what we're doing to try to establish accountability for the people of Ghana, we shall implement.
EpaHoaDaben. EpaHoaDaben ti sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
What's a voice of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, responding to a number of calls a Catholic Bishops Conference on him emra wo makosra no ewo Jubilee House what you are hearing very live. It is happening right now at Jubilee House. We're going back near Kwakoto.
Who could have anticipated that we'll have artificial intelligence, would have all kinds of difficult issues, fintechs and all the things that have happened. Our constitution did not take those into consideration. Times have changed, and so we need to look at that constitution again and adapt it to the 21st century and the current world in which we live. For instance, in 1992, our constitution writers knew the, what do they call that old telephone, the one you dial,
Happy FM,
the fixed line.
98.9.
And so if the president traveled, the only way you could get him if he was in his hotel and you use the fixed line, from fixed line to fixed line to be able to talk to him. Today, we have Zoom conferences, we have WhatsApps, we have all kinds of means of continuing to communicate in real time. And so the constitution writer said, if the president travels, he has to hand over to the vice as acting president. If the vice travels, he has to hand over to the Speaker of Parliament. As if the president has become incompetent because he's out of the jurisdiction. I just made a short trip to Lome I was there for 6 hours and back, and they were threatening to impeach me because my vice president was not here. But in all times, I was in touch with national security, I was in touch with my ministers and everybody. I'm just giving this as an example of how the world has moved on. And so it became necessary for us to set up a National Constitutional Review Committee. And we gave as source documents the Fiajo Committee report, including the white paper that was issued by the Atamils government. And then we also gave the reports of the Akufo-Addo administration. They also did a constitutional review, and there was a report. It was handed over to me in December after the election. And so all those were handed over to the review committee. And we said they should synthesize all the recommendations made in these reports and then come up with a recommendation on how we move forward with the constitutional review. And so we expect that in August, they would present their final recommendations. And when they do, we'll make it public so that the whole country knows what it is. And then they're going to bring the report with a roadmap for implementation. So we hope that
EpaHoaDaben. EpaHoaDaben. EpaHoaDaben.
Happy FM,
consensus
98.9.
across political party, religious lines to be able to move those amendments and get a more dynamic living constitution for our people. The next issue I would discuss is to do with our education. All of us realize that after many years of practicing the educational system we have, our education system has not been fit.
Happy FM 98.9.
For purpose. The world has changed, and new skills are required of our young people. And so it's not just the curriculum, but the whole teaching and learning environment has to be looked at in order that our young people come out and are able to fit into the world of work. The days when the long grammar school education made you look very educated and respected
Happy FM 98.9.
in society have passed. And now you can speak English as well as you can, be as academic and intellectual as you can. The jobs that are being thrown out by business and industry are jobs that mostly are looking for people who have dexterity with their hands. master welders, master plumbers, master craftsmen, and so on and so forth. And so we have a lot of our young people coming out without any practical and technical skills. And so they come and they can't find jobs to do because business is not looking for, what they learned in school, the grammar school educational system. So how to reskill them and provide them with the technical skills to go into the world of work is something that we need to look at. And so one of the things we did was to set up the National Educational Review Committee, which has since started its consultations and done its rounds. And it will present its report too, I think at the end of June. And if it does, we would make that public too, and we'll discuss it. I remember that before the Educational Review Committee started its work, the issue about management of schools, especially missionary schools, came up. And I had the opportunity at the opening conference, I think Reverend Fianu was there, to advocate and to advise that our faith-based organizations should present a position paper to the National Review Committee so that they can capture your recommendations in their final report. And whatever recommendations they give, we're willing to sit with you and implement those recommendations together. So I'm happy that in your presentation, you reiterated some of the issues that have to do with the management of our schools. I think it's important because I guess that the breakdown of our values and our morals is creating some issues in our schools. I mean, you find young people going to schools with guns. There have been a few incidents where, incidents with guns have occurred in our public schools. And there's the incident of a girl who's almost lost her eyesight because of something like that. And so what do we do about the curriculum? What do we do about moral education? What do we do about discipline? What do we do about teacher absenteeism? The Inspectorate Division of the Education Service is not able to be everywhere to make sure that teachers are in school and all that. So how can we collaborate with the churches, to be able to find out whether the teachers who have been posted to this school are actually going to school and teaching? And I think that collaboration between us in that could, bring down the issue of teacher absenteeism and also make sure that the teacher is doing the actual work that he was asked to do. So there's a lot that we can do together in the education space. And I think that after doing something the same way for so many years, the time has come for us to look at it all over again. And so we're happy to do that. With regards to elections and electoral violence, in recent times in 2020, we registered about 8 deaths, and it had come from the dress rehearsal of Ayawaso West Wuogon. We had said that Ayawaso West Wuogon was a dress rehearsal, and that if the people who were involved were not punished and sanctioned, we'll see a repetition of it in 2020. And it happened. In 2020, 8 of our compatriots died, just going about their civic duty. And again, impunity. No investigation was carried out, hardly any compensation to the families who lost their victims. And so it wasn't surprising that in 2024, again, we lost, I think, 5 of our compatriots, in different incidents across the country. And so we need to put an end to impunity. I believe that persons responsible for murdering these people must be identified, investigated, and prosecuted so that people will know that there comes a consequence with indulging in electoral violence. We also, you raised the issue of Galamsey, illegal small-scale mining. I'll just say a little about it, and then maybe I'll invite my sister here to come and give us some more information. But I must say that we're engaged in the fight. It's a very complex fight. Unfortunately, because of the lack of economic opportunity, a lot of our young people who are unskilled have found illegal small-scale mining as an easy avenue to gain employment and be able to make an income. So as I speak, it is estimated that anything between 1.5 million and above of our people are involved in that sector, either in artisanal small-scale mining or in working for small-scale mining companies or doing just what they call galamsey. Now, there's a distinction there. Small-scale mining by itself is not unlawful. It is recognized by the law, and it says it's reserved for only Ghanaians. The complication has been the foreigners who invaded the space and the new equipment that they brought that is able to destroy a huge acreage in a short time. In the past, our young people with pickaxes and axes will go and dig somewhere small and scrape somewhere and get a few nuggets of gold and sell and make some money. Then they brought excavators into it, and they brought what they call chamfan machines. That was the beginning of our troubles. And those equipment come mostly from a certain country. And so we started to see large-scale degradation of our environment. We have 288 forest reserves in this country that are declared reserves officially. And out of the 288, 44 of them have been encroached. When I got a briefing, I very naively asked, why? What of the other two? How many left? How many left if it's 44? Something, 200 and something. I said, why haven't they encroached in those? And I mean, the guy could virtually have told me, because there's no gold in them, stupid. So our luck with the other forest reserves that have not been encroached is because there's no gold in those forest reserves. But the 44 that have gold under those trees are, attractive magnets for illegal small-scale mining. So of all these 44, there were 9 that were designated red zones. It means that there were no-go areas. The security services couldn't go into them. The forest guards could not go into those reserves because the people there were armed to the teeth, and anybody who went, you were in danger of your life. Several journalists went and were, giving a severe beating and almost lost their lives. And so we decided to take it step by step. So for the 9 red zone forest reserves, we identified them, and I'm happy to say that 7 of them have been cleared, and the illegal miners in those forest reserves have been taken out. There are 2 more, Desiri and Ayen Sano or something, Asinayo, of the 9 red zones that we are yet to clear. If we clear them, then it means that the 9 red zones have been dealt with, and they have been the most decimated of all the forest reserves. But then it still means that we have all the other ones to do. And in the past, what has happened is when the security services have cleared the reserves, they cannot stay there forever. As soon as they move out, the illegal miners come in. But we've adopted a method where after they finish clearing the reserves, we're able to keep a force there to deter them and have a rapid deployment force on standby, so that in the event that they see anybody coming into the reserve, they call for reinforcement and they go there immediately and seize the excavators. We've seized almost 200 excavators. I cannot tell the exact number. And we've destroyed many chamfan machines, and we continue the battle. Then other focus for us is the mining on the water bodies, because that is what is polluting the Pra River and the other Birim and others. And so we've started with the recruitment of the water guards. Their duty will be to patrol the rivers and destroy any equipment that is found mining on the river. Recently, you must have seen the video of a big, mining dredger that was set on fire, on one of the rivers. That is the beginning of the work of the water guards. Happily, the water guards are drawn from the communities along the river, who are the ones who benefit from the river. And so they have a better incentive to help in the fight against the pollution of their rivers. Small-scale mining is done in Canada, it's done in Australia, it's done in many places. But we need to train our people to use the technology that makes it sustainable. In many places, they map out the area where the mining is going to be done. The first thing they do is they do what they call a leach dam. You excavate a place, you line it with plastic material, and then you set up your machine for washing the gravels. And so you dig the gravels, you wash, and then you catch the water in the dam that you excavated. And so the chemicals that are in the water and others do not go into the soil and do not go into the water. Now, when you finish, there's a product that you put in the water, and it will take out any toxins or anything that is in that water, and you can pump the water back into the environment without any pollution. And then when you finish, you must level the ground. There's a kind of fertilizer, it's called an organic accelerator or something. They spray it on the ground, and they grow crops on the land. You come back in 5 years, you won't believe that any mining took place on that land. And so we talk about the gold board, and people just focus on the part of the gold board's responsibility where they're buying gold and exporting. But the other, if you read the law, part of the gold board's responsibilities is to work with small-scale miners who are compliant, to give them the technology and assistance to be able to do mining sustainably. And in that, there's best practice. There are consultants. Many of our development partners have offered to work with the gold board to enroll and enlist the small-scale miners and teach them sustainable mining. One of the things that Reverend Jemfi raised in his presentation was the issue of a reclamation bond. We don't charge reclamation bond to small-scale mining companies. We do it for the big companies. But it's time for us to bring a reclamation bond to the small-scale mining community so that some of the revenue they get from the gold is put into that bond. And if they finish and they reclaim the land, their money is refunded to them. If they finish and they don't reclaim the land, then that money will be used to contract people who will come and do the reclamation for us. So that's something that we will take on board. But currently, the statistics we have is 16% of our forest reserves have been destroyed and encroached upon. It will need both reclamation and rehabilitation of the forest. And we are intending to do that under the carbon credit system, because if you reclaim mined lands and you restore forests, you can claim it under carbon credit. And that will give us more money to reclaim some more of the forest. And then if you want it in hectares, almost equivalent of 5,000 hectares, actually 4,726 hectares of forest have been destroyed by illegal mining. Like I said, the fight is complex, but we're not going to give up. We will continue the fight, and we know that, as Reverend Jemfi said, we have your utmost support. And as long as we know that you are behind us and supporting us, we will never give up. I thank you.
EpaHoaDaben sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
98.9 FM, voice of His Excellency the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. Na mene say dwumadie no ekoso ewo Jubilee House. Na we had to cross over to Jubilee House. Say bitimi amagana fuate and Samuel Mampeni eka in response to concerns Catholic Bishop Conference at the Koto Nenim. There are a number of issues conference no Edekoto president and they touched on almost every national concern. Omoka emumesua ehwasem. The fact is that the missions also have a role to play. Ewo emumesua mu. Inti ewo se mampania benhwe ne kwan a nsori anankakane emumesua si omo sere so no. Ekwan befa so ahye wo mu kina omo betimi asan a contribute to quality education wo manimu. Omo raise concerns about constitution na ye de ye adwuma ne and lapses ni weaknesses ni bia ewo aspects of the constitution ni mu na womo esanso ekasaye about the environment and in fact the issue with the environment, you know, the conference was specific on the issue of Galamsey. And only Mampeni responses or they may. But I am a bit disappointed, Kakra, because the Catholic Bishops' Conference demanded and reminded the president to say, Abinda Dane Wohono, almost as a conference, it demanded, say, you be here a state of emergency declared. Some parts of the country are Galamsey Ekoso Ewoho. Abinda Dane Wampemua. Of a Quambia Hodo Bebre so at the Obibeka or the dodges are request, you know. Emma yet other alternatives are more air and some alternatives in Abyssina minimum be the other impact be and the results be. But in His Excellency's response to the issue of Galamsey, or can be without mentioning the request by the Catholic Bishops' Conference for a state of emergency to be declared or some parts of the country at Galamsey. So I'm quite disappointed by that because President Mahama would have a response as to whether obey declare state of emergency and answer on yet because the bishops were specific as to that very demand. Was the president evasive? Was the president evasive? What dodges are na? Is it not part of almost strategy? Clearly, anka part anka omu declared the dada. Anyway, we'll come back to this issue and we'll also come back to the ongoing constitutional processes are here to kick out the Chief Justice. But I've been reading message via echo around on social media. I just got a copy of that message on my phone, and the message says, and I read, a very active rainstorm accompanied with gusty winds just entered the country and would strike the coastal belts, middle sectors, transition belts, and parts of the northern sectors, including Accra and Kumasi before or after 4 p.m. this late afternoon. Joshua Asamoah, a senior meteo officer, na omo no mo hwe ewiemu nsemo hese ewiemu sakra di nsuo beba na mamenko Ghana Meteo Department na membusa se sa message ye nam social media yi nokra na Mr. Samuati Menka, Happy FM Suni. Medawase for your time this afternoon. Na ewe ahwode ho hode.
Nyame adom mpaye boti.
Yeah, the nyame ase. Message am kind say rainstorm will be, in fact, the adjective that comes with it is a very active rainstorm. It is accompanied by gusty winds. Ebewura Ghana na eyade be strike coastal belt, middle sector and the transition belt in Kran Kumasi and the northern sector can home before or after 4 p.m. and area no correct
meda ya telephone no correct akra message and kasa content entirely yo tawo akwa bonten me this ebia ko tawo and on and I know the media. One and I enjoy.
Mr. Samuah, Pacho, to book a crab, I'm not too sure what the problem S ana baby free bad there but anka betima reposition wo kakra ma me hwese be ya
Pajoye.
let's manage it me sure say be
Okay. The mechanism
aha
ensure no e ka se beto ni de e no cre content no the description of whether na e expect any de obi na afa whether one na e send no and on one kasa so aye ni de afa ho na ordinary
social media so
and no cre wo ni se ensure de ye hwe ensure ni sisi ya ka say wo do ni kire e poema ntemu ene from antemu eko uti hono a eho nsuo no ahyase a eto ho mensuo no ye moderate to heavy rain ene agrada ni ayemo enam ye wese wona wo government fi northern region bibila yendi eko to wastamale ne potemo no nso benya won de enchekra eno achi no bono east eko savannah region eba santimantemu hot so nsuo ni begugu wana we poema ntem so benya nsuo ni bi nti afei na ebe poema ntem asantentem na to ema ntem
na chese
to ni utini de to sesi
na chese to afro kosoro ho emasia ha na enkran ha no musa no
na mum ya ye won kran ha ne de ya ye chance na wosoro no wana wo pokwase amasaman afienya chese ya inland parts of coastal sector no
ase ye ben poema ntem sa no ase won mo etinkran ya omo ya ben ye poema ntem no
aha ehon na chance no wosoro mo esen ya ye ben
epono
chese mungwa teshi na important mo ne de chance na wofo okay chese nso ni nto de ebeto na mu ma no de ne nyete se wona wo oben ye poema ntem no ebe wia ebeto aso akoye mfimfi mantem ne atoye mantem so na ho so nso no bi agugu ho te na de Ghana fund do no ya wana fo ha ne de ye hwe nso no wia idi ko nwumre so
yeah na rainy season MC ewure mu anesa se mo hwe forecast na afi we nsuo no ana afi we rainy season no you expect more rain na say ebe te say normal na pattern na ya yehunu no
seasonal forecast na yede ba bontin earlier no e say bosomi ya kwesi February July bosomi ni moni de nsuo no ayenya no ebe wosoro kakra pasin de te hunu titru ya yewo nkan pomponi mantem ha ene framantem no nino mudu ani kire asante mantem mu atoye mantem mu ena epoye mantem dia nsuo no nhyeda nye soronko compared to the Italian afibia ho no enya ne beten so bebe ebe the normal one na enya na but eastern coast ni de nsuo no be wo soro kakra eno nchete de dia nsuo beto de nemum ye kan nsuo no beto ni nyina abomu a be wo soro kakra sin de ye tenya no every year
ese I was say boy ho pa
sa bebe
na sa tashi ni nungua mpotem ho no nsuo timi topa na ho nko ade nsuo ntan to di ade nko a
se wo hwe how your coastline city no name na din nsuo ba no bebe
okay
be mountains and forest ya de ni na kan ho ma ye nsuo ebe so ho ma wi ana ebo no na moisture ni fresh as so na the clouds never nsuo no ba but they are very close to coast no so the your coastline city no nsuo na ye tenya no ho no ye de convective rainfall no because mountains and the forest be any one mabeboa ama cloud no so afom yo nti until say we very classical keys that each afa ye nyina yeso and time kan o how do we need inland part na to say focus amasama na ekọ poema ntem no omo won ma ahodo fufra san boa ema cloud formation no ha to hotel no sa na mansu no mo esen tishini no ngwa ne mpotemu
ma observe ya DB anytime when clouds ne be gather nsuo muna pa won kran ha no se what time hunu no say bia emuna from the western part mahu say ya entire to ba uhu say clouds na no din with the eastern side of nkran most likely nsuo no eto minim say my observation is correct there but what explains sadie no
no crepa yes, you don't know a free eastern side and I are never towards the west. Oshe, whether one is ended there, send the carbon in but once a Cassadia don't be a free to go Benin or Eba, and I see there or water eastern hall and Eba, and I will tea region or Eba. It's say we are in the free east and I call west in Intino.
Okay.
PMP no yana system and I say for me east hall and about west. Into storms and global circulations and into a Boama a free eastern side no and about west. A few times the Muslims no free the western side back towards the east. And to so Muslims just say eastern and likely was a better. I was crossing inside the west. West and I just say a trim na ako and there back towards eastern side.
Okay. And just to help our listeners and viewers here on Facebook to appreciate the eastern side and the western side no. Nena me pache ne se ujina nkran na do wani kire baby to set tema side na Madina Adenta side na hu se clouds na form wo ho a ho ne eastern side na me pache no ena se wo do wani kire bia Kaswa side down Soman side na wo hwe western side no se be amanfo so betimi appreciate ne ye kan openi e beda se wie na ade na wodi jaga na for crab se bia kokobo ahweye ana bribi fufuro bi nso wo setimemufo yehunu as we enter the rainy season.
The best way to say a boy. Nti impempi ne se wunim se a house e beba hombo na obey nti no ya na ema ho sunsun so no nya kase bebe wo so nti yama weather updates any part of our plans yes run up na ahwe se ne nsu ho na se nsu ni ho to plan e udi na no kwan abefa so be plan no yeah, the weather forecast no kind activities for the day me gidi se edu rainy season ma nsu da ya de betime si no kwan beto wasi di kan hu nsu no beto ansa na aba na ebe yenisi there so no be kakra bi so
awesome penny ebeda sibebre na yakoso de ani adi sansem na china okay Ghana no yen time for weather forecasting adwuma amanfo ene smartphones environment so no pakra o phone timi kire se ne weather ne beko but it appears say over the years no yen shedenya ahotoso ne gidie kase wo yen forecasters ni mu enti no enkofo bebre na nya alert ni mpo a omufa no so enya de beto omuda bi omukanso emba so assurance be na wo ho regarding Ghana your meteo department any mobobre in predicting weather patterns. Are you mostly on point with your predictions and I say title fa ho why must Ghana fo nya gidie ewo mo forecaster mo de betu dwa no ho
forecast na ankasa de metri aka say GDA wo mu because ankasa ya validate forecast dia be send akwa bontin
okay
how sure chance na ya forecast na wi no ye manen so ho sia ya sa evaluate forecast no ho de call so ye de anko so ye na de sa ni mani na to 2 years nti ye massive improvement in forecast accuracy in recent years but adeba ko na ye how na say to be to the view ho no forecast na kwa bontin but ansana ni pakrono nzabeka no na ebia brobe remi sakura afani pakrono nzaka tesanze onya ne ntemini ntino bon se obeka se weda no amukan no krampo nyesa enami ho no anase mobeka se nsigoto na to awie ana bibisa but see idea with social media and how information reach people on a very faster level on it forecast nearby and within the next few minutes, you know, with me disseminate money a call probably and within a few minutes. And when you forecast now, with me a delivery I share information because reliable and delivery necessarily faster than in the past. And with this technological advancement, you know, we did this follow forecasting and quantia and should be better to frame.
And I'm at say some more equipments, Papa Panso.
It'll be a yap for Froca. Yeah, press it more na Kahona forecast accuracy in a crown because, but I can tell you that they say your forecast accuracy be anyone by less than 70%. And your forecast would be more than 70%, and I just say Boko and Imba.
All right. yɛmfɛnsi ha na mena wase ene obra wenya ewo ye ho nti yɛbɛfi ase behave to say Ghana ni a wakɔtena burukyiri I mean u kɔtena burukyiri dia osori anopa na check weather ne weather ne be se na inform na tade obɛhye and you are encouraging say you adopt sa lifestyle and attitude ni be by checking the weather and correspondingly no yɛde yɛ nneɛma so bɛtutu yie in that manner yɛda ase bebree wie ne onkyerɛkyerɛ mu ade ama Happy FM ne yɛtiefo
yo Mr. Madasi
EpaHoaDaben ti sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
Joshua Asamoah a senior meteorologist na otene nkano ode nchechemu aba. There is a message making rounds on social media eka semunu huhu as if say rainstorm bi baba bi supi nyina, but the point is that wajia tumsampa ayade ayehu isu anim fad one ye kase cross na ya no guso ye kase kranso na hyase wo eastern region ebetimi aba Accra de ne mumu ne bia na amba enkrankurumu proper bia beba bidu bia medie ne Amasaman Pokuase Madina Denta ne nananama no ho no mo a but ne wo mo de atudwa no enye huhu te se ne amanfo de nam social media ya wo mo ekenti opani na kasa wate ne nsem kan no mumu ensua se ne yede weather no ebeye ye niema kanka ne akuafo yede weather ne beye memi se mi fifie I make sure say me windows nyina I didn't check the weather honestly man check the weather no but embre aye wo mu no enye obi na be ka kiro se upia hwesa niema no na wo a won so te ba bia nsuo to a etayiri no emre aye wo mu enye obi na be ka kiro se upia take precautions of valuable items no so be yi dia kwakogu ba bi fufura wahwe na waye enti information onsa aka enono EpaHoaDaben dwumadie eni we are live on Facebook and we are also live on your radio for our messages brana yenkenkan ni nyina emfa emawo na yakwakotie His Excellency the President emra washia the Catholic Bishops Conference na conference no the issues national issues ba komienu miensa to president nenim ana president no so ede the response ebaye they touched on almost every issue of national concern from education to the constitution all the way to the environment, sanitation, galamsey and even the economy na yakwakudisa enkomo no ewe sene wunimu no issues no edapono so ayehwe the removal of the Chief Justice from office. The processes are leading to end no and ehun semu a etwaguo. There are a lot of people saying say yama a purely legal matter abedane a partisan issue. Anka semu anka ordinarily wasanke jai emma the constitution because okay article 146 every step bia was say faso ansa na obi aka say Chief Justice yenyi ni mfiri wo no eye printed ya tworo ebo ho ne eye sha eka ho ne eye me ni nyina aka ho bi na adenti na ye Chief Justice anase Ghana fo bi ese Chief Justice na tomra enti yenyi no na womo famra kwan so de petition na kɔ ba bia wo se kɔ na president nso adi emra no so na odi petition no afa emra no se na article 146 akere wode afa so na yenyae masa processes ne nkɔ na enei ade ni nyina bedane NDC NPP NDC NPP implications for the image of the judiciary de ade na question back so me busare say will the judiciary remain intact in terms of the integrity and the image after sa process here na and ye din komo e was issues ho fa won so wadwen kire bra na yenkenkan na omanfo nso ehunu se ne Ghana for adwene Global Info Analytics this week here issue a report on the processes leading to the removal of the Chief Justice. A whopping 53% of Ghana for our sample supported the suspension of the Chief Justice. I don't know what that signifies. But the Chief Justice, for the first time, is appearing before a court. For the first time, the Chief Justice pre ape justice nibi. For the first time, Chief Justice is going to appear before Onoane colleagues and her own court. Media makase, interesting because ebin see that and yenya ya ho abotre na yehwe how our process no ebeko. Na ye kan nyina. Edie na di Chief Justice kopie before the Supreme Court, which is her own court. Chief Justice at the petition say Supreme Court entie no. Na ne petition awade akono. Osiki a number of reliefs. Kire say or threat the Supreme Court to say omunti asem no na omunye niema bi ma no. Eniema ni bi a Chief Justice ne pese Supreme Court ema no. And say one, Supreme Court empina yemfa interlocutory injunction. Yemfa interlocutory injunction. Ento committee na omobabe probi na asemo no. Yemfa nto committee no so. Se be ya omadwuma no kura no, womuntimi nto aso kura biem until say issues or the abeto Supreme Court no yebe kan wie. Another relief Chief Justice no ehwehwe. And he say wabo 2 Supreme Court justices din and ahano very important so betie ni ye.
Happy FM.
Wabo 2 Supreme Court justices edini. Sa 2 Supreme Court justices na wabo wo mudini no. Omo ye members of the committee. Yeah, Mepacho, pull out Article 146 for me. Why? Now, there are some interesting provisions. Be aware. I was a Ghana for agony esiso. Okay, Article 146 now. It says, in part, it says, in the case of the Chief Justice, I will see a uni-free war. Now, Council of State established a prima facie case. I was a president. Set up a committee omo ebetena semono so na committee na president be set no enye president ne pe e no betwusu nkrofo. Article 146 actually the category of people was say womo committee no so, and the constitution mentions
98.9
2 Supreme Court justices as members of the committee and presiding. But I was Supreme Court justices mienu ebe serve ewo committee no so no. Bako ena obe chair committee no ana obe presiding over the deliberations of the committee. Enwachi emrane chira e was ofa enipa bia 1 enipa miensa omo nye lawyer for omo nso a omo nya mrahye bedwafo. Enti pursuant to that, president no abo ewura no mu bidin a omo nso so esefata se omo serve on the committee. Enti committee na president ate no made up of Justice Gabriel Poaman, only the chairman of the committee. Justice Adibu Asiedu, a member of the committee. Daniel Yao Domelevo, onye lawyer ni eno onye mrashebedwani senior constitution kind article 146. Major Flora Bazua Dalugo, ono so member of the committee. Ena Professor James Sefa Jisa, also a member of the committee. Na over article 146 media to Facebook se see screen so thanks to my production team, Mask, and I feel so, Mrs. Abigail Fiancone Joyce. Sir, I can't see the clauses, but you move to me. Amana Ketua Kakra, Muzumi out Kakana, me refer to the appropriate clauses. No. Now, over a year, clause 5 of Article 146 are. Or say, Mame Farisha Simply 4. Or say, where the Chief Justice decides that there is a prima facie case. Okay, this where in relation to some person we a Supreme Court justice from the Supreme Court, but about the Chief Justice, where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice. Constitution is said, and this is clause 6 of Article 146. The President shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint 3 a chairman of the committee and 3 persons who are not members of the Council of State. Pacho, I can't see this thing well. Mo hena mo nya na yi mame. Mr. Mo back to it. But me pacho ne say committee na president ya set up e ba be probi the Chief Justice's case no. 2 Supreme Court justices are almost 7 or so our constitution no na akire no.
98.9.
Chief Justice no as cite wo mo was cite Justice Poorman and Justice Adibu Asiedu say omo nye fit to serve on the committee because of omo rulings bia ababesene ko obekaya. There have been about 5 different petitions across Supreme Court challenging processes na across to remove the Chief Justice. Now, some petitions na call you no. So 2 justices, Justice Gabriel Poorman and Justice Adibo Asiedu, they all were part of the panel that decided the fate of those petitions. Baku came from Tafo MP, the Honorable Asefua. There is also another petitioner, one private citizen, the Koye, and a civil society organization, Minso the Koye, and there were 2 others in Sua Ako, Nina seeking the Supreme Court to say, near President Ayano, with Tiamra, processes need you and conforming with Constitution, no Nesania Manina. Now, sad 2 justices here almost serve on committee, no. They were part of the panel of Supreme Court justices. One more ebuasa petitions who do ya edi kanya bay. Not just say petitions no you thrown out of the Supreme Court to the near Chief Justice Epachene say sa justices mienu ye ba betie na asemu no. One more edi kan akire one more gina bia ewo ne nsem ho nti no. One more tena na asemu so a enye yi. And it is interesting because you see, we have been educated and been told to say, a judge for hembra na woman when penny no budi buaten. Enti anka uko jina uko pie judge anymore. Nya judge mujidie say, and marana da hono and odi ye adwuma. And fa hu say watena case bi da so a case no tena so no obuko say nyanimu gidie so obeye adwuma no. But interestingly, Chief Justice no the custodian of justice wo mayimu over the years omama yate ase say ajaji foi hemra no mudi ebu aten wo consider emotions ne nyema bebre enti aden na Chief Justice any ono any colleagues ni mugidie say even if they have taken certain decisions previously and only Chief Justice no ni reliefs na wo seeking no and then the arguments na wo ye na the petition here slightly different from petitions are edikan ko Supreme Court atuagu edi ani nti a Chief Justice any Justice Gabriel Poorman ni mugidie oni Justice Adibu Asiedu emugidie se omo behwe emra na kete na omo aye an objective job because onu Chief Justice no so gidi mapase ne ho son onto mre bia enti ni suro ne de na o suro se sa two Supreme Court justices ne tena committee no so a ebekwa atia no. And ebiaka say it doesn't speak well for the integrity of the judiciary. And ebikwa mboka say the relief Chief Justice ni ACK say yenyi two justices ni free committee no so no is an attack on no Chief Justice no launch against on no any colleagues yenina ye be expect say they have been objective over the years and will continue to be objective. But they can catch us say we are in interesting times. Inti sansem we no no ma ye monitor mfa party nsem wura mu.
98.
Ya ma ye ho kwan na ye follow process ni ye. Ebi twi Chief Justice na bo so say ade nti na wo otwe manso e wo committee no ho. Ade nti na wo twe manso e wo processes no ho. Ade nti na wonja asem yi mu kura na nkonfo na adwuma nto ho. Na nka we keka bi amba. But I am of a different view say ade we say ye ma ho kwan na eye exhausted ye exhausted processes ni nyina ye bewie no na yen constitution no na article 146 no na yen democracy no ne ya hyemu kena because argument a wo ye nyina yi eda bi betimi asan ba ye bekwa koyi Chief Justice bi a based on senior ye treaty sa asem we nti no ye benyansa na ho na that yesa ba yenye reference point. So let's allow the process, let's enjoy the process and let the process go through. One of the reliefs also Chief Justice no ACK and he said
98.9.
oh she's praying the Supreme Court say ne suspension no President Mahama suspended no and the suspension of the Chief Justice is also in Article 146 Abigail de eba to screen you see President and free on one pemu ena oyi eye Chief Justice no edi free ho anase o suspended no there be kosoro wanye ne sa constitution ne kire pefe ekwan a eni nyina so a obetimi gina so na odi a suspended eye the Chief Justice abisa kosoro mame na sa suspension no ena Chief Justice no fight. They say Chief Justice no committee nanka se ba betena na asem so no or say Supreme Court emfa injunction to omo so. Apart from that, two Supreme Court justices na etiso no so yenyi omu free wo because oni gidie wo mu
98.9.
enu achi or say Supreme Court overturning president decision a what take say obe suspend no as Chief Justice. Na okay, Article 146 Chief Justice suspension no ewom. Another relief Chief Justice Esan Hwehwe say and ahanso very interesting. Ya ti haye pa. Chief Justice say ni hearing no committee na setena no ma yenye no in camera na momu yenye ne bedwam in camera ne se yenkoye no kukuom yenkohye dem Chief Justice na yeyi na free ho ense se ye ba be horo nsem no wabontene na amanfo te nsem no mu yie anase omuhunu ni akoso poti esa ye bewie no kura no ebema ebi amanfo gidi omo judiciary mu no eso te kura eso hwan kura ni ehon kroneba enti in the wisdom of omo hyehyɛ mra no omo se ye be Chief Justice na petition ko na ye establish a prima facie case na subsequently ye establish a committee ebetena asem no so edane du na committee ni be ye adwuma ma ye nye ne bedwamu ma ye nye na bontene yenkohye dem committee no a lawyer for represent eye parties ni nyina womu nkohye dem na womu nti asem no no monka na omu wie a committee ni the recommendations e de akwa president. But guess what the Chief Justice is asking for? In a petition to the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice is seeking, say, yɛbɛma asɛm na yɛkɔ akɔtie no ɛbɛba bɛda abɔnten. And the Chief Justice is relying on also the same constitution and referring to Articles 19 and 13 one more and our original so kase asɛm na yɛba bɛtie no ma yɛnyɛ no kukuo mu yɛnyɛ na abɔntene. But sɛ wohwɛ Article 1468 ya when that way or say all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other aspect of his choice. Enti Article 146 actually the manner in which a committee no also in adwuma or say eba bedwam. But the Chief Justice is saying say the Supreme Court should look at other articles within the Constitution. Na sa constitutional provision way yenyim free woni yema de ne mra meto abontene na obia entie emu asemu ebie. Committee the na adwuma wi a okay 1469 na or say the president shall in each case act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. Into committee ne kana asemu nyina awie ne committee ni be recommend no emra ne say president ntimi nya ne wope. So committee ni say yimedia you must comply. Committee ni say onye boni bia you must comply. Or say the president shall in each case referring to say a Chief Justice na ye and I say chairman of a tribunal and now krampo say a member of the Supreme Court or Supreme Court Justice ni ye na committee ni tinasi wie no muti asemu ni wie a omo recommendations no the president shall act in accordance with such recommendations no ontimi ensesan nka say okay my recommendation me nyinadi but me de misusu say meye bibi foforo we need the luxury to do that at all.
98.9
oko clause 10 of Article 146 abikosoro kakrama me or say where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, pacho mun kosoro mame eda semni be na esi mo mame nkan na ana efrizi efrizi amomona ni mbona sum na momona chinchin why you me say where the petition has been referred to a committee under this, I think ahanomo me free hanomo de da yenkwase ho na yenkwohe okay ahanomo ye mame pacho utifio. Now one of the reliefs Supreme Chief Justice seeking said Supreme Court revoke President Mahama ne suspension no. But share Article 14611 of the Constitution.
Happy FM 98.9.
Or say the president may at any time revoke a suspension under this article. Enti Justice Tokonu and President Mahama was suspending him. Ochina President Mahama kodana onya agensa kraya suspension no kra no obetimi asan revoke na wasama na enadwuma. Ebi busa se sa provision we wo constitution ni mu a and then Chief Justice offer the request to revoke the suspension no enkoto president nanim na odiko Supreme Court. Will the Supreme Court have jurisdiction over ASR aspect na when mu nyina ye arguments are eba be koso e wo Supreme Court when the Chief Justice and the lawyer Godfrey Dami Ekupiewa me say
Happy FM
yenya ye ho abotre na ye masa processes we nyina enye exhausted na ye be wie no democracy ene be wi ni ye be wie no yan constitution no ena ye evolve no ye hye ne ma ye test no na ye hwe ba bia etosini ene ba bia ejina yie important say yebema ye ho kwan. The only problem wa e koso sesia e the partisanship na e choki sa processes way. And amanyosem na ewura mu no enya wanwa me enya me wanwa say people are reading partisan meanings into petition no kura se ne ekoye. People are reading partisan meanings into president or forward ade no per the constitution. Obi are reading the political meanings ewom. Saa nso na when this ifo a almost reading political meanings into chief justice no ne posture. Any lawyers bi a wafa wo mo ne nsem bebre. But osan dwene ho a no asan ka kire ho say adenti na enye partisan. Ebeye partisan pair. Because we have a constitution now. Edi to me of appointment nyina ediama president. See, yebe we sa process we constitutional review committee no the opportunity to follow through this matter and make appropriate recommendations to change the status quo in the way I am constitution it here. Because why wouldn't the removal of the chief justice be partisan when a political appointment? It is the president who appoints the chief justice. Parliament per enebe adia parliament be ya vetting omo be vetting no ye vetting we a I mean we den ya ade onu no baba be chief justice enti se eye obi a ya to aba yi no e na eyi chief justice ne dia ene na saa na be kwakọ wie. Everybody will read political meanings into chief justice bia the neutrality the objectivity. And enya afi wey ananda John Mahama nko a the head of the judiciary ever under attack, ever under partisan attack. This is not the first time. If I say one person will time a judiciary, Ghana judiciary, ever under attack, you will go back to the days where 4 judges were picked up and killed. The mistrust for your judiciary no enye ne. Judiciary nindino enye ne. It has always been motivated and fueled by partisanship. One more equal executive power have always seen the chief justice omo babe tuno se wonye wo mu nipa
98.9
wei eye no kure trobo aeda. The political class nankasa NG judiciary nindi. Intimacy. So person who shepherd time wa the bastardization of our court, our judiciary shall say. Emra ye fear say ye targeted judges bi because of ruling a womodi aba. Soldier for a targeted a judge for. If you are see a tata, woman to kunkun woman. A free hawk, and one more executive power. Send the signal say, who ye judge near, or ye judge a one for ruling, a new woman, Ebeshiama, or ye town for. And your boss has sent it to her. And we have built up over the years consistently. Deliberately,
98.9
we have been bastardizing the judiciary through partisan politics. Yet me pack Supreme Court because of a political case. Ebisi ya Nigeria Kufo, the Chachuchi Kata case. Yenji judges ni. Because a choir will first appointing Nipano. If it takes a politician to promote a judge to the Supreme Court to dia, and enough judge bia or be frako Supreme Court to bia or a politician, and now or a beneficiary of political appointment. And if you have such a constitutional arrangement, a better day na wetimi are protected the integrity and image of the judiciary. What to me? And I build you upon sir precedents ne saa ba bedum pempenso a enei saa gidie na ye wo judiciary mu no atete apansam Anyway, however this matter will end, it will determine the future of Ghana's judiciary. Say you just stock on free ho. Monka hunu say a vicious cycle. Said ye winner takes all. A vicious cycle president biya ba. E was say obia abindada ne appointed no. We CEO. We MD of any state institution. I was saying munamoko. Ye betwaso. Say ye the judiciary ne beka ho.
98.9.
Ye the chief justice ne beka. The litany of public office holders are. Say political powers aside. I was so munamoko. Ye bo kwan na to ho. Yes. Ye bo kwan na to ho anka first no. Omo na omo security of tenure. Article 71 for no. Hardly would you hear say obi pursue you obi free wo. But we have consistently in the last few years under this Fourth Republic, we have consistently tried very hard. See a BSA. And a sana ye channel. We may not have legs to stand on.
Happy FM 98.9.
And the Constitutional Review Committee, no more parliamentarians, and one kasa select a speaker. Almost two speaker no swaba. Now, almost decided say when a person or yet the head of the legislature. Ghana for ne to aba the head of the executive. And so about the head of the judiciary, a president ne appointing no. Inti from the word go, Chief Justice position no, a partisan appointment. From the word go. Politicians over the years, because of SAR foundation, you have heard politicians say so many things about the judiciary. There are several ways of killing a cat.
FM 98.9.
Do I look like a cat eater? Mokaka sansem nina. Ye kwakotwa be ya campaign and then this for ye. They said so many things about the judiciary, the chief justice, and so many things. Because of partisanship. Enti motibu ne ekoso unprecedented. The number of judges are abinda danu sum wo de kogu Supreme Court nko a. Say okoso say president onu lead one arm of government. Ono nsan ho mra metwusu ne okwakoye the head of another arm of government or say ye independent. Crisis any problems are creating no. And even if workload there was Supreme Court no dorsum, they need more judges. Once a president appoints more judges there, automatically what Guinea say
8.9.
what the Nkrofo go to influence justice. And that process way will mean a lot for that culture na ya building. Adia we de na nka osanka anka we kranke ni hu komo bedwamu because it's purely a legal matter. Ye hwe ba bia mra ne be kwa wie. But clearly a partisan otwu mutaya wuntimi nyi politics in free mu. Otwu mutaya wuntimi nyi politics in free mu. utie nsɛm kan a NDC for ekaye ansa na omoba power na wohwe anamontu a President Akufo-Addo etuye impacting the Supreme Court, sending judges to the Supreme Court, and then Nipadodo will promote them within that space of time. Oh, you can't say something to me read the political meanings into it. Ayedini. Na ene kwa case kwe dem kwa say obey politics every move because there is politics all over the matter. MPP for a lead demonstration fighting against side removal process. A the partisan fray. Minority leader a lead demonstration. No, Kokan say you touch one, you touch all. Sa kasano wo chief justice ne wura MPP mu wo chief justice ne dia wura partisanship mu asamo no wo ye free the court arena e dia ba the partisan arena. Petition ne koye tie nsamo a government functionaries, government appointees, NDC communicators omo kafa petition no 98.9 ebeye dini say obetina ba bia ka say we NDC phone enka ho bia na wo mu nhya kire edini so obeka say petition wo mu nhya kire because of wo mu ansusu kasa ene nsem kan enti ade a nanka wo say the constitution na kire no anka ya faso na anka ye dini no ene abege partisan, and so the chief justice would also do everything possible to ensure that asem no ebe stay within the partisan na ye wie na ye yi na di kura na nkofo ka say we aban na why na adwene so obeyi ntia until there won't be any credibility in the process. At the end of the day ye di ehwan bro you had a case where MP ono no filed the first petition against the process. Ebe so we were say MPP for mon taichiri. We have petitioners ni be lawyer. Chachuchikata. NDC mapa. Obi be ready meanings. Godfrey Damia maami akofa ne say woni nanim wo Supreme Court over sa petition. Amade no kura so ye more partisan. Enti ne yan kasa ye ho no. Enti na meka say ade no ye ne akofa aba. Ye jejereje yenye ye ho abotire na process ni enye exhausted ni ebe free mu aba bia ye nso mu saa se ebe hye democracy ni mu kena ana ebe ma democracy no ho atoba ha. We have no other choice than to accept the outcome of sadie we ya sha sie na kamimi nyaaya nanka ankoba ne saa. Because whatever be the case, people would want to take political advantage over Sadiewe, either for or against. The NDC has made a lot of statements. 98.9. Actually, say almost support any chief justice in influo, and into almost support any chief justice in influo, and largely because of a core of our office nipa ko appointed no political cases are ako Supreme Court our presiding. Woman reading political meanings into the Jumana constitution, and you have MPP sitting on one side, almost so about 5 chief justice. And try say protecting one decision we take it to make her the chief justice, and they are trying everything possible. Say, my chief justice now obviously because there are going to be partisan cases at the court, bruh. Ade wotwe mu time a partisan, but it is so because we as a people through the constitution I say a panel have decided to make even the appointment of that person a partisan one. Nya ho abotre asem no baby be kwa wie bia e ho outcome bia e wo se yesomu saa. But ade ba ko a madwene ho eye me wanwa kakra ne say Dabena, because we Article 71 office holders no. You Charlotte say free order. Energy mensa by. You men say there are moves to also get her out of office. The Chief Justice process Asha say. Now, so 3 arms of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Daben ena, because you see, issues are here raising about the Chief Justice. Ena, what to cry out of the country. Ama Nebusian for are benefiting from her office. Ya cannot to her. There are other issues bordering on discretion. Any sanya manina. Say, ye ka say, ye di any see president so. Na yasese eniema amampani ahodo ba office omo abeya. Kabe sure sanka almost every president under the Fourth Republic would go through an impeachment process. But have you realized they say when it comes to the executive, nobody talks about impeachment. Even when eniema esisia and kasa eniema na esisino. E was say a Ghana for cause of worry. And until o see a Guinea say mampeni no te hono was se fatase wo koso ye adwuma na. But when it comes to other office holders are almost security of tenure, the executive are quick to kickstart the process. Omo tachire no we de nyo hia ne so de petition ba constitution says na menye na maye enu nti fabra na menye. But have you thought about the fact that omo no ye the political class, the partisan class are omo govern the executive no, in spite of corruption hodo a ekoso, in spite of exercise a bad exercise of discretion, in spite of Sika woman whilst they are occupying the executive, nobody talks about impeachment. Nobody talks about impeachment. Mampeninda da no tell konya so. There were constitutional breaches. Opien wo ka say mampani akufado etu anamon we na anamon we a wetu de etia ne office no mumyamfa ne famra kwan so. But EC chair anase chief justice eno de ye yamko will find ways. Da bena Ghana for musu mani ba break the executive no so. Da bena Ghana for so ba sori agina say mampani etu anamon bi a etia Ghana mra enebi asisi da, but it appears say executive for no di omo no ye entache omo when it comes to removing them from office. Omenwene ho
EpaHoaDaben ti sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
Charlie, are stress. Oh, senior, what be the issue? Bro, another one caught up in again. I nearly get them this time. Charlie, the over 1.5 messed me up.
Oh, Charlie, sorry. But wait, you don't get refund for your loss?
Nah, bro, that thing's have day. You hear so before?
Yeah, soccer beds they do. Them they call them soccer chance.
Ah, Charlie, you sure?
Oh, but why I for lie you? Just make your stake on 10 plus games with odds of 1.30 or more. And when it's full, you will get your stake back times 3. Come see my bets.
Hey, Charlie, this be interesting, oh.
I know, right?
Soccer Chance rules are simple. Bet on any of your favorite soccer league games with odds of 1.30 and more. The total number of games should be 10 or more. Now here's the catch. Lose just one out of the many and you'll be rewarded 3 times your stake. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 18. Gaming can be addictive.
Spaghetti, noodles, fire should
New Kivo hot pepper powder. Loco shoe. This advert is FDA approved. Yamma wakwaba eba Eclipse Collateral Management. Ejuma kwostron kwa yamma wenya wadwapade nkrata ho mfaso. Wonim se wadwapade nkrata ekuta wo no ebetumi asesa wo daache. Yesesa emfasode a adwapade awuranom etumi enya ewo no adwapade nkrata ho. Ene nyuma awuranom nso ebenya frɛ adwapade ahodo a yede sia bowa ede apesika ede abo wo nyuma ahodo. Enti se ope prime brokerage, collateral brokerage, credit brokerage, ene land document perfection services a mayamfa nyonko. Ewo Eclipse yewo prime depository platform bia ahobambo bumu ahia de fofora adwapade awuranom etumi de won krata ekoto ho na wonya sika esem bia ni ho na ye de sankrata yi ebo nyumaku ahodo a wo pe besia de afrisika kwabia ho ye bobosia ho no ho ba ebo manyuma awuranom nya sika de tre wo nyuma mu ye de bosia bo hwehwemu a emu do na ye mapa ena sie gina ye enti wonim se wo wonsa ahobambo bumu entwentwan so hwehwe ye nkyira kwan ewo adentam barrier ye ben medi Moses ayaresabia no ewo West Africa SHS afasio no ntempe Franyensesia 0543842466 wo Eclipse Collateral Management. For property owners we say think safety and decent income, and for businesses we say think funding before projects.
When I get home and want something quick to chop, everything there inside, groundnut milk and sugar. I only need some water. So kiss me dizzy, oh. Kivo carry me, Kivo carry me for your office. Boarding house, Kivo carry me. Everything there inside, groundnut milk and sugar. I only
Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Soakings are easy.
easy, oh.
This advert is FDA approved.
EpaHoaDaben ti sinu pi na nokre eye baako pe.
To use the occasion, the opportunity, and the chance to rationalize Article 71, payments, and prioritize labor-absorbing infrastructure projects, expand and depoliticize LEAP and the NHIS with independent audits, reform electoral security deployment protocols, and reconstitute electoral commission appointment frameworks to ensure independence. Create an independent commission for democratic integrity with prosecutorial powers, and institutionalize civil service charter to protect public servants. Establish a biennial inter-party forum led by faith-based and traditional authorities.
EpaHoaDaben ti sinu pi na nokre eye baako pe.
From Galamsey, it probably might be the biggest legacy any government president might have done for Ghana. Your Excellency, we, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, are just returning from a meeting in Dakar where all the bishops of West Africa in the ECOWAS region, including Mali, Guinea, Senegal, and Burkina Faso, were present. We had very passionate discussions on the ongoings in our sub-region, views from the ground from all the bishops. And that is why we are compelled to speak to the growing sense of disillusionment among the people in the sub-region and even in our country. Your Excellency, trust in democratic institutions is waning. Electoral participation, while still robust, by global standards has declined from 85% in 2016 to 60.9% in 2024. This downturn in electoral participation tells a lot and underscores a growing sense of disengagement among the electorate, particularly and dangerously among the youth. The reduced turnout reflects broader concerns about the efficacy of democratic processes in addressing pressing national issues. More worryingly, many young Ghanaians now express disaffection with politics as a vehicle for real change. The perception that politics is transactional and exclusive must be confronted. We must make democracy work, not just periodically at polls, but persistently through policy, equity, and inclusion. Mr. President, we have national unity challenges. Political polarization has intensified, deepening mistrust between ethnic, regional, and partisan lines. Land disputes, chieftaincy conflicts, and vigilantism persist in flashpoint areas. Electoral violence persists in our democracy. Even though Ghana has successfully conducted 9 elections, land disputes, chieftaincy conflicts, and vigilantism persists and inclusion. Mr. President, we have national unity challenges. Political polarization has intensified, deepening mistrust between ethnic, regional, and partisan lines. Land disputes, chieftaincy conflicts, and vigilantism persists in flashpoint areas. Electoral violence persists in our democracy. Even though Ghana has successfully conducted 9 elections between 1992 and 2024 and peacefully transferred power from one government to the other on 4 occasions in the Fourth Republic, yet electoral violence has been an enduring feature across all general elections and most by-elections in the country. According to CDD, a total of 76 separate incidents were recorded in relation to the 2024 elections. Destruction, seizure, vandalism, invasion of public facilities. These 24 cases, deaths, 6 cases, and injuries, 46 cases. There are also allegations of partisan dismissals and political vindictiveness against successive regimes all over, all of these regimes for these 32 years. So, Your Excellency,
EpaHoaDaben ti sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
To use the occasion, the opportunity, and the chance to rationalize Article 71, payments, and prioritize labor-absorbing infrastructure projects, expand and depoliticize LEAP and the NHIS with independent audits, reform electoral security deployment protocols, and reconstitute Electoral Commission appointment frameworks to ensure independence. Create an independent commission for democratic integrity with prosecutorial powers and institutionalize civil service charter to protect public servants. Establish a biennial inter-party forum led by faith-based and traditional authorities. In conclusion, Your Excellency, as we reflect on these developments, it becomes imperative for both church and state to collaborate more closely in fostering civic education and engagement. By reinforcing the values of participatory governance and accountability, we can work towards revitalizing public trust and ensuring that democracy serves the prosperity of all Ghanaians.
EpaHoaDaben Sinupi Nanokre Eye Bakupe.
Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Polytank, we did Polytank. Papa no no, 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 Ankasa. Polytank, the original, always the best.
Etoda, wo kontimi do champagne pa, nanso wo sike kura wo no. Na ye juice ene betumi ato. So pese wo kura mre kura sika, na udwumadi a wudie, wonum a wonim dwumadi no. Etimi dima wo e wo bra bode emfidie a esefata edi dwuma ne dia. Ene ha ho kura. Isanse E Productions. Ya be sort you out. Frey. So pe studio and production equipment rental. Emfidie a ye di twa sene ahodo nyina no. Ye betimi dibia fam. Corporate and social videography. Se wo di dwumabie a wo pese otwe egun homa so. Frey. TV commercials, se wo ton wo niema na pese amanfo ehunu e wa kasamfoni so. Frey. Documentaries, frey. Photography, any live streaming, se wo twamfoni kama pa. Anaze wo di dwumabie na pese film, frey. Yetete phone humanie 0242 755 323 ana 0302 254 858 ana se hwie kira kwan. Ye wo Asylum Down, ye ben Happy 98.9 FM. E Productions, capture the moment.
Your property holds the power to transform your future. Welcome to Eclipse Collateral Management, the game changer in turning property documents into profits. We are not just another service. We are your partner in unlocking sustainable income and fueling business growth. With prime brokerage, collateral brokerage, credit brokerage, and land documents perfection, we are redefining what is possible for property owners and business owners alike. At Eclipse, we have built a primary depository platform, a secure, innovative space where property owners like you can lodge your documents and earn risk-free, sustainable income. For businesses struggling to secure funding, we provide collateral solutions you need to thrive and grow. Every move we make is backed by a rigorous credit appraisal process, so you know you are in safe hands. Find us at Adenta Barrier near Medi Moses Hospital, beside the West African Senior High School wall. Call 054-383-2466 today. At Eclipse Collateral Management, for property owners, we say, think safety and decent income. And for business owners, we say, think funding before projects.
Maya Rediana, happy on wheels. You made a change, happy FM, I say. Near the bois, Maquaima, a dreaded four, and a gun of Winya Quine, and yes, in Piaginas of Tradding. Nebuama Gun, fan to my Pefrano. Yet, dear Drew Castle, a wood to Senya East Municipality. Oh, and you did mediocre. Near a gun of 1 year, for work Castle New Market. Anyone will be done will be Ochomubiano. At Trans near Timiabua, Sagana, and a Kanko Betimi at Dimu. Happy on wheels, 30th May 2025, 2 to 6 p.m. Kaso New Market. And the Jumedi Edebrewo. Ghana National Fire Service for Ebeb. Yamio Huno Kwa Betimiesi Ejashisha Hokwan. Save the Eye Foundation. And so Ababe free eye screening. Ediamio Jumedinas. Saranso na Road Safety Authority. Eba Becheche Kwa Befaswa. Between home free can kwejia enyinemu. Jumedi when it ayawodia ayamedia. Yenyina ni yokodi nkomo. Happy on wheels. Your voice, your power.
EpaHoaDaben Sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
.9 FM EpaHoaDaben Jumediene. Welcome back. You better see bebre say oda so ene yen sum oman Ghana. Na said ya wuni muno and maybe phone lines no, but maybe when we are done with our discussions, send ye beya ubitimi enya the benefit of thoughts are ye be share with Jumediene so na wetimi a contribute a year. Na Haruna Amaleba is representing the National Democratic Congress. He's seated in suit as always. Fifi Deka is also seated representing the New Patriotic Party, always looking his casual best in the area. Atena Nedjemo. Ebebe eye na watchi munsemo akesia SCC. Don't forget say the Vice President is back. She is hale and hearty, very strong. Wababi do President Mahama say doctors say oye 20 years younger. Nemomo no beka chen say on taking it slow but sure. Maybe some comments on that will do. Now what you so Chief Justice Nankasa after 5 failed attempts to sort of curtail processes before the Supreme Court any the Chief Justice Nankasa edin Supreme Court the custodian of justice is seeking justice for herself. Obe appear before no court. Obe appear before the colleagues. And that is some interesting development a woman. But we'll look at some of the reliefs she's seeking. Now the one of the things she's seeking say the suspension or no and I say the suspension of Supreme Court and revoking was also say 2 of the committee members are Supreme Court justices. Abakoye chairman of the committee, Justice Gabriel Puaman, and Justice Adibu Esiedu. 98.9 Supreme Court any free committee so because of the previous judgments are omo ediaba in earlier contentions about before the Supreme Court. She is also seeking an interlocutory injunction against the proceedings of the committee in general. We didn't come on. Nebiaka said then a day we no partisan, and the medical catcher so chimutai partisan because Chief Justice Nemu is appointed by the president. Na senior yaya in politics or ye memuhano. A beya dene sa same way ubetimi aka onfa politics emfuforimu. Especially when you listen to statements made by both parties. NDC in opposition, the things they said about the judiciary and the Chief Justice, the intentions to get her out was clear. Now, Omateki sa step in so the MPP na Kasanso de Nwajimubi leading a demonstration, the minority leader. Demonstration, I say, and say, you touch one, you touch all. Ebisa Sadia brings the Chief Justice into the partisan fray of the NPP. Where lawyers say involved in this matter, Godfrey Dame, former Attorney General, for the Chief Justice in this petition. And Uracha Chuchukata, also representing one of the petitioners. The fact that NPP MP and they throw the first challenge at the processes. It is difficult to be politics free. And anyway, how we can cure partisanship out of a nema anka ordinarily was a purely legal matter. The CD conversation ekoso na watching so edi him pa and na watching so Dr. Mahmoud Baumia video be a pop up and that video I'll share with you. Mebo voice number na wetie some of the things he said. Emrana or pre to me akọ eye abanua no so obekaya oye media encounter bi a ehọ na okoka se oba na osolve Ghana problems nyina no be president idea no obeye no okaye. But he was talking about gold yede eba be support Ghana currency. Let's take a listen and then we'll come back to the studio with more. Yebe dwumadie so ehya na watwi decongestion exercise AMA and other assemblies ni bi ehya ase sustainability and matters arising. This is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 2024, some few weeks before the election. Yentieno.
I mean, when you look at the U.S., they had 8,000 tons in gold reserves.
Happy FM 98.9.
You know, all about 2,000, 3,000 tons. In Ghana, the largest gold producer in Africa, had 8.7 tons. So I said this is something that we need to change. And so Ghana needs to start, because the thing about gold for us is that we don't have to export anything to get gold. If we have cities, we'll buy gold right here locally. So we can use our cities to buy gold without needing to export cocoa or oil or diamonds or timber. We just buy the gold locally. What we have that many countries don't have. Just something that many countries don't have that opportunity to do so. So I then came up with the idea that let's do, instead of, since we don't have forex at the bank to pay for oil, let's use
Happy
gold,
FM
and therefore
98.9.
gold for oil and gold purchase program for reserves. And what is very, very interesting, frankly, without this gold for oil, the gold purchase program, this economy would have collapsed. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind. Why do I say so? In the last couple of years, Bank of Ghana under the gold purchase program has able to buy $5 billion of gold. $5 billion of gold. Think about it. We've gone to the IMF to look for $3 billion, which is going to be paid over 3 years. And this is why we are going through. But locally, we've been able to buy $5 billion. And this is why there are no queues for petrol. This is why Tumso has not happened in Ghana.
Happy FM 98.9.
Otherwise, where would you have gotten $5 billion from your reserves? Where would you have gotten $5 billion from your reserves to keep up all the payments needed to make? So that has been, for us, the game changer. And so the pilot that we are seeing with the gold purchase program and the gold for oil program, I want to institutionalize it going forward. And this is why, by the grace of God, when I am president next year, we are going to institutionalize this.
EpaHoaDaben ti Sinupi na nokre eye baako pe. EpaHoaDaben ti Sinupi na nokre eye baako pe. EpaHoaDaben
98.9 FM EpaHoaDaben dwumadie enie fifi de katena se Abraham Amaliba Haruna Amaliba enso age na adwa bema ewura no akwaba mema mo adwo na emfa na komo ne hyehyɛ so mema mo ahama mo adwo kan nyina bom
yenu bibi ejo so
emedom na wo so nyame odom me ho ye
good to see you
okode asamente won kan ya don't know hoye ampa hoye maton kan se ye de nyame asem se topics amedi go ho ne nyina yete ye But I have seen something interesting. Be a pesemede eba app. Maybe you guys may want to commend one more involved. STEM education became a very strong focus by of my way. Emrana MPP Wakunyaso. Within this week, many former education minister Dr. Yoduchuma Kasa, and we had an extensive conversation about STEM education and in the future.
On air?
On air. Like Akunya Utimonu Noti. You missed it.
I did.
Okay. I'll send you the link. You can listen. Okay. It was actually a lovely conversation. We'll be to a lot of things. Now, subsequently, guess what has happened? Apam Senior High School has come second in the just ended global robotics competition.
Yes, this is not the first time.
Yeah, of course. You can see now. You call robotics competition. Ghana Apam Senior High, Anya Chimota, Anya Presec, Anya Produce. Apam Senior High.
Yes.
Top, it came up second. Omenya Silver. Now, guess what has also happened? A 9-year-old pupil out of Free Bono region.
Wow.
We're making history as the youngest African ever to compete in the just ended Pan-African robotics competition.
Wow.
9-year-old.
Wow.
Africa ina ono no shawo mu a okoko represented Ghana.
Wow.
Abi, if you have the picture of the little boy Fatu Honian celebrating in Kakrana, enema we movie no say media ya highlighting. That's a little boy.
Wow.
Yes, 9-year-old.
Ofi public school and as a private school.
Ofi public school.
That's it.
Ofi public school. I want to pull the you didn't come on. I'll pull a few things. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Guinness Book of Record holder. The youngest ever in the world in the era of painting.
You
remember that boy?
Yes. Our Ghana, small aquarakitu. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Charity begins at home.
It does.
I wasn't surprised to learn that no mama and papa are painters.
We are painters. Yes. Now,
congratulations and shout out to them.
Exactly. Now, details need say. Let me just read from Ghana Web. A 9-year-old pupil from the Bono region, Elom Gra, has made history as the youngest participant to represent Ghana at the annual Impact Roundtable discussion and robotics competition, competing against peers from other African countries. Elom, a student of Preparatory School, a student of St. Anthony's Preparatory School in Nkrankwanta.
You see,
it's a Catholic school.
St. Anthony's there, obviously, a Catholic school. Now, a private school there, and that be a school,
and that take us to the Bible,
which is
Nazareth.
So, almost say he earned his place on the team, representing Yamransa Model Lab 12, and Yamransa Model Lab was established by the Honorable Educhum as one of the model robotics labs. Our schools now were in Clips Munina Yusu. Na almost say abofrane ba lab or the first day of ba hono. Passion ya can be or exhibit no.
They were shocked,
and he's been consistent with that thing to the extent say anyama we fear said inside na e obi anwawa. Na yeso call competition no. E hokra na amafo hu na the contribution to the roundtable discussion.
Whoa.
Ideas are not there, as yes, 9. Ideas are what there, but solutions are a winning trim. Ubia Shorebo Munsem Edema, there's 9-year-old boy. Ghanaian. Your comments, please.
I want to say US.
Yeah.
The laser guided bombs were developed by Professor Thomas Mensah.
Yes.
Elite.
Yeah.
The laser guided bombs of the United States military arsenal was developed by a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
A speedboat was developed by him. What occurred 16 patents in the US. Well, fiber optics.
Yeah.
The speed of our internet was made possible because of him. And then where is he?
Is it not Professor Alote mathematician. Yeah. Onye no na o disprove say parallel lines meet. You know, it has always said they don't meet.
That was the day.
But he disproved that through mathematics to say that they meet.
They meet at a certain point.
Yeah, at a certain point.
No, see, Bibi, I have always said that. Look, one of the greatest myths, and of course, a disingenuous proposition to humanity, is the claim that Africans contributed nothing to global history.
Yeah. It's a big lie.
Modern civilization.
To borrow the words of Tadiosore, it's a monstrous lie.
It's a monstrous lie. It's a monstrous lie.
EpaHoaDaben.
The United States of America and Europe, their development and civilization was shaped by the black people.
Yeah.
Okay? By the black people.
The civilization, shall I say.
And here again, at the time where Europeans meet their ancestors far back in the 15th, 16th, or even yearly before, on the coast of Africa, it wasn't servant-master relationship. Omobedu Africa, Hano. Is it Kwame Nkrumah in his book Africa Must Unite quoted a handbook of Vasco da Gama.
Okay.
And the things he chronicled in that book. When the Europeans landed the first time in the eastern shore of Africa, somewhere around the Kenyan belt, they were very shocked to see a prosperous societies far advanced than that of Europe.
And how much more?
Okay. You say me I want to any bie any kura
ansa na kwasi broni be ba ha no
ni di kan ko ni da
e ba ne sen ya be da ne slaves
e ba ne sen ne mum ya be ka chi ene che so nipa ade wo nanam ade agya wo no wa hwesu yi a wo yira wa chi story bi na ansem bi asi wo twesem no mu so wo ko First Kings chapter 21 ahemfo wo ma di kan tribute nu ba ko no abranti wo fe na Naboth.
Okay.
Ene wo hene Ahab. Now, as some of say, Ohene Ahab, ehu bobe true ane Naboth dia. Na sa bobe true no, Naboth na nanam dia no mo wu e dia jan na masa abro no abedu no so a ono so be dia de. Okay. Now, okay, Ohene Ahab ane Israel hene at that time.
Okay.
E ko Naboth ho ka che ne say.
First Kings
21. Was saying Fabobe true in a family. Now, me find ye
the whole of that chapter.
Yeah, yes,
summarize the story.
Or say, would you tell mommy? And I say, pe cry me for what meet you the sewer name. Now, pe send me so among patadia crack can one, Messadia can. Now, but show him in the kitchen and say, pardon me, send me the min and nanum, and we are dear, the mouth. You get that?
Yeah, that's quite profound.
Very profound. Just a dear penny for the down one bohumba ubeira. And I am not surprised. So you this level of exploit right here under the tip of our nose. Bibi, you have no idea. Talent ayira Nkrumah.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Yeah. Now, Messa
na me lecture na bo aduchum say you hunu ne ntemu a ana ye this stem sha ase a anka ye imported toys for your man.
Yeah, toys wa ha.
They say na ye ni emfa milk to nturu wa nye toy car.
I agree.
It's craft.
Yes.
I say ye nyini baby toy dia plastic.
Chobi no.
Chobi na
nebo pimpi.
Na adam ko shede motu. Jeli si
na no ko bi ampa.
Jeli si wo kai.
You wanna pump him no umia na ebo
pimpi exactly. Omo dia ben dia so na pempem. Umia na bo pira okuta na
adam ko. Yeah.
You get be and you know him Aira yentimi antoa ne ye beto ye no so. For me, Bibi, I want to tell you that Enyoma Yehu, just the beginning.
Excuse me.
I didn't see.
Sabru Niban. If any fake.
Where now would you free cycle?
Obeka Sara Wako. So, Bibi, for me, Enyoma. Now, Oko Macrase, a dance groom, Sabuchu Krum preaching in Potemua. Tamwana ye yini yemrentiano somewhere in the early 1970s.
Yeah.
Ushe kwala no koyuru no ko twanto nto pa be yino ka fa you could see the skills in their hands. So those cars, and the modern Land Cruiser.
I be sure that
the model of Land Cruiser. Far back in those days, yes, and trust secondary school in a son. No.
A fear could be.
Fear could be secondary school. The girls there are doing wonders.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, on my being what Timotum or more look externally, and on my external dependent on more to look around the world and tell me. So my better developer are external dependent. No, you have to look within and develop one human resources, the skills that your people have.
Yeah.
So one more focus a corner developer. That will be the beginning of the turning point of that country. So I'm so happy. And I'm so proud to be part of this generation, seeing these things happening.
That's right.
And Bibi, the best is yet to come.
So
the best is yet to come.
When I say my baby,
yes,
what the previous administration shas here with STEM, Mubema na konkaina are spreading more. Close to about 12 STEM schools and our MPP Jai. We need a lot more. Because mukra STEM talent, they are always experimenting with the local material.
Look, Matisse a KNUST. What you develop chemicals, a bit may purify and show a brand new effective.
Now say a map, a sanitary pad, yeah. KNUST,
body fiber,
kwadu, and I sanitary pad, any side effects be question is
hygienic.
A day na a buying air to commercialize it. So to commercialize it, nanka a team so a creative business is a man for. Phil, let me listen to you on sir.
Bibi, really a very big plus to the MPP government. So they take its initiative now, started STEM schools.
Yeah.
Na yenuanumi. Omontiase, omokentia ya ne who send ye the see kono.
Ya ransa lab.
Out who say you're starting in Tema. Send ye can ke kwe nimbe be. Enye omonkwa enye school na boni din nkwa. A lot of schools megis fonso could be just as schools when they go, they excel.
I think the first one was Manfi Methodist girls.
Only Megis.
No?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's competition among themselves. So there's a robotics competition among schools. Every time they are among the schools, robotic competition. It's what we winning. What now call competition outside. No?
Okay.
I don't cry here, but like you said, the media doesn't give it enough coverage.
Exactly.
Cry here. I'll call question school be or not. Omo say abobo ya na amafo autonom the petrol boom no. Omi abobo ya na engine, no the electric engine ashim.
Okay.
Yeah. And no say STEM school or not.
Wow.
Yeah. Abobo ya na nkrofo atona unu say abobo ya na every petrol and so the akọ. Omo engine si ho. No the electric engine mama na power abobo ya no we use electricity.
A school for ya na
or not. If you school need but if you check online you see them. Just say school for dancing so my submarine be school be a submarine or the Ghana Navy.
Honorable Educhimbe Kawa.
Yes, my submarine the microphone so a drone be the Ghana Army. On between the share a day before now.
On boat no cry no. On my in such a way say it me trap pictures
underground, yes. Yeah. Yes. And I just said they are doing marvelously well. But one say Chrome Hano, academia in namely say, and the government needs to namely say. Here no, we don't have an institution or organization that says that company A, you are doing A, B, C, D. You need QYFF to do it. But this company, that's what they do. So you people collaborate and work together as state institutions. We don't do that. What to be called not GRA, any Ministry of Finance for airborne trade, a national security, any customs for airborne trade, because there's no collaboration.
Exactly.
If there's collaboration, a lot of things government won't be torn. Because there might be brewing it isn't a government kwa hano.
Yeah.
Because a buwa agency be under the same government to beat me.
That's right.
Oh, so near their common private individual. Na ubu buying what I said, are they buying a turn 10 cities. A bank was cost of quota over 50 cities. And it's so sad. And sometimes government itself has an agency somewhere, OEBU.
Yeah.
COVID time, see, government was importing a lot of, also buying a lot of hand sanitizers. It's a CSIR for OEB. Oh, CSIR for hand sanitizers. And yama be government in Yanya, you go CSIR. Baby, oh, sir, believe my money, son, and they do it. If you are working together, you can just get them to supply to the schools. Now, instead of a scale, would be research, What they talk about products, this is how fund your man,
So maybe one of the things was buying is CSIR don't hear research more. It's in your mind, more like proof of concept.
What they sell?
Batches minimum, so almost selling. But almost need the capacity to do a lot of Nyoma.
And yes, they do.
It's me the say. We are research, now who near a bit me. You have a ministry in charge of trade and industry.
Yes.
I was say a buying a choir or be attracted private people are almost investing in that research finding. Now you commercialize research, so that you bet my mass production of the corona CSR for it me
Sure, Bibi say
yeah.
If government decides to patronize them, government will patronize them. Look at the number of schools government feeds. Some more farms, so a lot of farms. Until no say government workers okay, CSR won't produce we ma more farms need that. They'll do it. Omiya Pozzolana cement. What did they need that?
Natipa.
Away.
And so cement, normal cement, what in the.
And the government buys cement for contractors every time. Intimate me catch a contractor be say me more contract now.
We na cement we na me pay.
Cement we na me pay. Because I don't know a till production cost almost by 30 or 40%. Because when you have cement 100 you need just about 60 and only 40 Pozzolana ashim. And also Kraman ye had a lot of properties are clinker cement nini.
Yeah. Na me ne madam forbidden commentwa no hagla ba bia wo bia me chewe na wie. Na ye kase
hagla Bank of Ghana.
Da bia nyo no. Na me kase won atakwa me dan ayesisi.
Happy
Clay na ye disi dan. E dan ni timisi ho years.
Yes. And crack
Inti as o mine send your cement board dini. Inti ye invest in research ye betimi improve your clay no.
What did that? Bibi, what
did that? Any of cement ho kasa no.
The only thing is one say Ghana no, your taste and preferences and so can on my brand.
No correct.
Idea made in Ghana no, yempe. Idea made in Ghana, yempe. Obi bibi bo bi nsem kakra okota de na ne bo nya di anfo say enye papa. Obi sa boss o ade we dem nya so say papa. Inti no e ma yankasa no ya ma ye hu some kind of yardstick be a my bread.
Ya limit you.
Yes, but government also has to take the leading role. Say, look, buy made in Ghana. They have to do it by they themselves starting it. What I say? Sanitary pad here is Mukochi, yes, in China. There are companies in Ghana on your sanitary pads.
The last time I checked, I'm sanitary pad on one buy. I checked with Omwa may expect some mobile manufacturers. They told me, say, 90% of them are crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost full some yawa no more yawa crap. Be branding no.
In Temra near Kase yentete
duties
so near the idea no. It was only going to favor imports, not necessarily help industrialization. Tough,
but we have to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
The government has to take that role now.
Yeah.
I mean, but the collaboration is here government. Sometimes we say, oh no. Burkina Faso near Papa a buying a contract no. Roads ni nyama ni nyina on kofa contractor bi na be twa anybody who has money is a contractor of government or somebody who works with God. Why is it so? Only few people or your mom nyama they don't have anything to do with government, no muska. Majority of muska beyond it
say a procurement economy.
Oh, Charlie.
It's a procurement economy. We are procurement. We do less of manufacturing. Anyway, let's move on to other matters. Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. Yeah, Eden Eniachere on one court before her colleagues Okwako Siki Justice. I have Mr. Mbuma Subua. We all know the issues, the angles, and the reliefs she's seeking, the politics of it, the alleged meeting by judges and lawyers involved in this matter. And who video abontene, and then the subsequent arrest of the petitioner. Fee, I mean,
Bibi. Mira, where
Happy FM 98.9.
Then
it's also Babaye reset.
Yeah.
Or no, dear, just say, "My papa, no Babaye whistleblower." Or say, "No, the whistleblower, yeah, harassed da." Ne kufu adu aban, we whistleblower, ne okra ne tata o. Omo de omo nyi bi da ene show. Obi ono ne o say, we who say judges, any one side of the people involved in this case, I could share, baby. Into president, me petition with Shishemu, what's a match, Well, Mamina Semno, I sembia, Udrin Huan Tiase, Danum not Winnie Ham say, Utia Nechika can, me catch a mark say. Mamini problem, all can I, as Ubiantin in the say. As far as she a judge, come mind you, she's a judge.
Yeah.
She sits on cases a lot. So as far as she is concerned, cases don't be abandoning in a primary fashion case be any.
Happy FM 98.9.
Omaki can they have made levels.
Oma establishing prima facie.
Which is what?
We don't know.
That is what she wants to know. Court no coding in an not the tier one no or person who say prima facie case no my and only dear him, who.
But beyond that, she wants to know other things. She wants other things apart from Menos.
Yes, but she wants to know.
Yeah.
What I say, because in her mind, some Kate Richard say, Sadia way ya yenti, and a president say, well, I establish prima facie case against you. Because in her mind, no, first saying, somebody be a wa. And yes, Sabi, you wait me, the Chief Justice said.
Okay.
Say, Obiaba court. Or the Asema court, Asema Yedinu, there were a particular court with a particular judge. Ya journey case, or buy so barbe to a case, or buy ya transfer judge in a different court. Or say, Mammy na transferred into Mammy Bonnie. Mammy say, oh, judge way, court han or but Niku Yarida them, and was a court I workload me so much. Say, oh, Yapain and Sheniku into Mammy Chief Justice in Pacho, Famiko court, a one lesser pressure. So the be a meet me in Yapain Ashemiku. Not Chief Justice Grantino. Would we I should say because Chief Justice M-Pesa was assembly call this way or the other or transfer mammy.
Well, the committee will hear it.
Yes, Obi so betina court. Asema yan fani who ye do obi asem ye no start to throw tantrums. Hey, who are you? You can't do that in court. Oh, there they say arrest him. Ye chi no. Ye say jano or say mammy na chi no. Forget to say there was a panel of 5 members. It will be a baby on your no ye. Into which you know 5 raka is saying. Yes, on any cool to coin or no to say can. In teacher said, who share cases now and shut that and do threshold now. SAV clear suspended.
In your opinion?
In her opinion.
Okay.
What I say? Because the last time I think.
But do you agree with her?
I do agree with her.
Because I say in your opinion.
Because set or no so far no. Ye share that country and say, I dear way potia wa yentina.
You.
In me, the president, in my mind, you know, we need prima facie case I establish in Tinia see Yeshim. Or do you say assembly by and I can say President Buku. Who shall letters, the responses, or yeah. All the response that she gave me. She said, this does not even warrant you forming a committee to look into this. Because according to Siciano, committee ni ba betnasi. Etienne enu musem e de abunifo. What you say? As a committee, na afian from ba be investigation in sema yaka no. Or say as a judge no, prima facie say the evidence is following the allegation. Inti yesi bibi ewi aponchi no the picture aba okuta aponchi no na eno na say on the face of it ade ne da ho ya amount 100,000 o say there be amount 20,000 akofa voucher aba say 100,000 amount 98.9 on the face of it you are seeing it enye bibi akwa investigation o ti ase mamia kan semia still aben so omode omonte hwi ombe eno no nso hwa se na niama si ko no mind you we na enye court committee the committee ni tenase na omo ka say okay omo findings no say ni ya otimi nya ho hwe omo akoka che president based on the canon na say president act on straight away but so the court na court tena asem ni so otie na asem all the allegations against her na if court butia no call she can still do or go for an appeal intimi sure say no sa na mani nyina no hwe no say no so the court na yet na se ne kan asem yi one of the things she's also requesting say yenya ade in public hearing
eno na enye strange kakra
that said Osha court rules are there's nowhere you can say TV show court sitting but you and I know say during the election petition you started show here
but also you are aware say per the provisions of Article 146 a specific provision says when it has to do with the removal of the Chief Justice, it shall be heard in camera.
There's no shall.
There is. Abi, pull this thing for me, Article 146 for me again.
Shall. But one say, Bibi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, say, the rule is made for man, not man for the rule.
Okay.
Intino, laws are made for man, not man for laws. Intino, see, I am Rebbe. Na yenim say, Emrana ya no, say ye danini say ya ebe favor ubia, and in fact she is the one involved. I'm sure that thing is there so that it is to her advantage. Say the beya se bibina ne nimbe gu ase ne nim gu ase. Nipa na no she has at the receiving end say mu in the public no bi anhwe bi.
It is not within her right.
Yes, but she can also ask for that. It's in her right to also request for it. Yes, because enyama e me kra ne amana ma e sha ewu krum ha. Inti no no kase okay. Muni ade ne nhwe bia. I think senka is fair. Oh na we no eya say NDC for ekot na ase bo omutrimu po say
so, with the benefit for the benefit of your viewers in Article 1468 or say all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera.
Proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, including the committee hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Shall be held in camera.
Substantively, the committee hearing.
In fact, it is specific to the committee hearing because a one hearing no it has to be in camera.
Okay.
But she is relying on Article 19 and 17 or 13, which is more general when it comes to in-camera hearings. But where the generality of those articles now refer to. Now where the specific nature of Article 146 are. Anyway, let's wait for what the Supreme Court will say about that.
Once Onu ye involved, Onu because this article is supposed to protect her. Na Onu say yenye ni see ya. I think say it's to be in the right. Say Ombeka okay, if this is your wish, let's grant it. Na yenye no BNTB. Because recently, Assembly say ya na Eko Court. I think say former Attorney General requested say yenye no live. Open here no BNTB. No BNTB. We did that. And when it happened, no, I think say it was okay. There was that thing. Because I did we know say during election time, no, NDC for the Mutrimupo said they would do that. What I say. Emma Rua Mahama, Ekushia, NDC lawyers, Ewakusumbo or something. Ekachom says some of you should be prepared to sit on the bench. Because we have to appoint some of you on the bench so that we can balance the equation. Forgetting say you appoint to be my neighbor ye chief justice. I know chair say what do I say koda assembly you and ye bebegu. And this for if he said the most biggest political case in the history of very recent term in opposition. They are two force in case. They won. At two questions, they won. That same chief justice and who Chief Justice here born the Subui Oh, na kwen say omono asem court na say omo Lucia they have a problem. When we need the adi atofo sin asem chese otibu asem na nim emu da ho. Obi ayama osika se koto ambulance, akoto trotro na abesi ho. Koto empty vans abibia anim. Say afiansa na wo import to niama na begum. Eno kra no judge ne say you are not guilty. Go. What you say? MPPD Bianca so because of Yama's judgment in unanimous 7 you say Deben
unanimous FC NC for mommy.
Obi no kasa. Oh. Now nya pe no mo compare Charlotte say to mami. Charlotte say case no ni Crawford na start man issue. So be kaya ni deputy commissioners and the true comma president say mami was involved in procurement breaches. And it wasn't the president or anybody who did anything.
But we don't know the petitioners in that matter. Charlotte say case.
Oh, I think it's public. Yes. When I finish because there was this Kumasi guy, although they need the buy near so on signing it. Okay. It wasn't signed. They called him to come and have it signed. What I say? Obia Kai Sambe Kaya Electoral Commission appeared before the public accounts committee. Na commissioner ka ho and ebi so say commissioner when so munim me capo search ben say how can you come
for the starting who said there is a rift between the commissioner
or we took one cry that's what about that when was Tuesday no so okay Tuesday dia oba
na one cramo do mu hu da oba
oba na mu ni bra yet be table that and they dismissed them the Tuesday no oba so ma me so kwa na by commissioners na maybe they will say no there was a problem
of here.
Until almost commissioners na kasani they couldn't even work together.
Any see for mommy.
Oh, into nya penny and Charlotte say, yeah, can say, mommy will petition the whole. And so much share that and no mafa ho and no we first because obu petition against EC boss no and sana from what I hear no EC boss they in the bar first.
I remember interviewing a civil society group on the petition against Jimenez Akoye. But say, I mean, the constitution.
They have not dismissed it.
How do you know they've not dismissed it? Because constitution is also Saka as president. You only forward it to the Council of State.
Yes, but if
be an Council of State, but there's no prima facie.
Won't get any information.
And the society president Namahama for constitutional breaches.
If there is something against her to Kabana, they would have said it. If there was nothing, if there was no prima facie case, they would have said it. What we know or what I've heard is that on the neighbor first, where they told her, so we didn't have we are.
Matifi, Amaleba, when I'm into your thoughts on this raging matter. There are several angles to this. Explore. Let me hear you out. The tape na be piano. Emu duma wana. And for you also want to be on the side of Omo say tape with your and you can't base on this tape say the two justices have compromised themselves. The petition by the Chief Justice herself and the relief she's seeking, and your thoughts on this whole partisan twister. More political actors and more diamonds are processing.
Bibi.
Yes, sir.
Let me deal with the hearsay. If you don't you see, yes, you find yourself.
Okay.
Unless I dance, you be a baton. Okay. Enti sansa no reka wa hano eyembugu. Secondly, restaurant are some of more canon. Okan hermeneutics.
Happy FM 98.9.
Or can it say, in interpreting any document, common sense is key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, let's assume without admitting, say, counsel for the petitioners, any the members of the panel, who are the committee members of Motna Semnosono, EPBB, Akotna se Abopo, for Chief Justice, a restaurant.
Sorry,
one more did or more soft drinks, no more Ricky Babs, no. A whole year planning about the Chief Justice, whether to sack her or not. Where people come in and people goes out. Does it follows logic? Oh, tell me before I'm open to be a child. At least, say the moon can true. I answer the crab home. So we can agree with you at some point. We also we should throw it to the dustbin where it belongs. Second, or thirdly, I disagree with the claim by Fifi that in this case, the MPP group. So President Mahama and na ties and number we chia or born in Timpo so Chief Justice said. President Mahama and we must take the president out of this issue.
How?
Entirely out.
How so?
Because the president have no interest in these matters.
The president has an interest in seeing the Chief Justice, this particular Chief Justice, out of office.
President Mahama have no interest in it. Who become the Chief Justice of Ghana? He have no interest in it. And in fact, he doesn't even care. No, fun of Hokra.
We share NDC lawyers and some
fine. It's
the same as
fine. Mati MPP for some of Moka. Yeah, we both do. Bibi. In the legal profession now, you put in two major branches. The bench and the bar.
Yeah.
The bench, the members. Sorry. The bench, the judges.
Yeah.
They constitute the bench. And the bar also the members that constitute the lawyers somewhere. Overall, all of them are within the legal profession, but these are the two major categories. So if President Mahama was encouraging, right, and was persuading, and at the same time convincing the NDC members of the bar, of course, MPP also have their members in the bar, say, look, more professional, some more asparsom, more commoning. More look only at the bench, at the bar level. Now more asparsom, more members of the bench. You say President Mahama can't some money be.
Okay.
Because you come and look, mention one NDC member. You card bearing party member when Judge Okrumah. But in the meantime, you have an opinion Kufado. Maybe you have a Mampino Kufado, a former parliamentary candidate, a constituency chairman, a constituency chairman, and the candidate of the party 2 terms. A man who run a party colors you're nominated to the bench. Just a Jew or that's what he was here as a justice of the Supreme Court. You're not concerned about that. And to me, I'm Malaba Mitier. Imagine me cassette MPP. Now, many MPP near some. Near the Miko court, then go pay just a Jew anymore. What will happen to me? Because I have been very critical on some of them. He would deal with me as NDC member, but not according to the rule of law and natural justice. That is a threat to the justice dispensation of this country. Some more MPP for some more Kasa. I am team more Kasa. Billy, the reason I disagree with this claim is Chief Justice, let's even assume without admitting, and some people before can you know correct. Say NDC for see by a Pam Chief Justice. Chief Justice on your legal director of NDC. And I was the financial officer working in the headquarters of the NDC, where Chairman Asudun Ketia, through the executive powers, can write a letter or the general secretary who is in charge of administration. With virtual letter at this person say, Mami Kofi. No. The Chief Justice is not an appointee or an employee of the NDC. She is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So whether or not the NDC like her, there is a law governed by the Constitution. There is a law governing the state, which Oman Penino is subject to, Parliament is subject to, and the judiciary itself is subject to. In fact, so okay, Article 125 clause 1 of the Constitution now, Bibi. But some constitution can you?
What's it saying?
Was it justice emanated from the people? Article 11. Sorry, chapter 11. Justice emanated from the people, and shall be administered in the name of the republic by the judiciary, which shall be independent and subject only to the constitution. And it's a constitution. And it's a two way the judiciary now. They are accountable to the people. And the framers of the constitution, in their own wisdom, Article 146 clause 111. No more chronicle all the procedures relating to how you can remove a higher, how do you call it,
a Chief Justice, a Supreme Court Justice,
a judge of the Superior Court, meaning the High Court, the Appeals Court, and the Supreme Court. That constitute the highest court of judicature. When an opinion could for to take you over, also suspended 4 justices of the High Court. Are you aware of that? And someone Were those judges different from the Chief Justice today? Is it because women are Chief Justice? But Pensemo Article 146 Akaya. Oman Peniku for the Jinaso. What do you do? So Kaita Money will cross it. You call football. Or say, because that and you know. You should buy what the 2 million. You my wife, so can no, oh, Bibi, channel your club member. Jamali. Yes, yes, if you look at the only way, or catch Motara, if you don't know, if you and to 2 years should be a Jumano, and all the Muslims should be a Juma. And neighbor to radicals to so. Also, Jama small for now. Almost also the trust. That's if you are going to buy another one. Good. And to trust someone, or man penny for the job to the year Juma, now I am from Sono. And I don't know Penny Muhammad the year Juma, and you are from so. In the case of the Chief Justice, and Charlotte Osaya Sama walking. When Omampeni Akufo-Addo received the petition, in fact, nameless and petition without signatures, as I'm okay, on a conveyor belt. Okay, not pencil, conveyor belt in the Juma. President Muhammad in the conveyor belt, not it. Is that a wisdom you guys are espousing? Maybe. So, what can Article 57 Clause 1 carefully? And some of what I call it the silent constitutional functions of the president.
Okay.
Article 51 Clause 1 say, the president shall be the head of state, the head of government, and the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, meaning it is only the president who have the power to declare war. Now, besides these 3 functions, the president is number 1 spokesperson of the people. So, when you and Eko Kasa, he speaks on our behalf.
Yeah.
So, call African Union, Eko Kasa, he speaks on our behalf. At the same time, the president is the number 1 messenger of the people. So, in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, when one can say, a private citizen like you and I, Chief Justice, Juma, and the administrative head of the judiciary, an arm of government, which under Article 125 Clause 1 is subject and accountable only to the people of Ghana. So, from you have a petition, and from Common Council of State Direct, one can say, from us, say, who will be Chief Justice? True. Now, for Common Oman for Sumano. Now, on found command the Council of State and move to Oman Funo. And the Council of State knows so, you're trouble you all over the country. They are 31 members now. Now, so you're trouble all over the country. There are 31 members now. 30 of them are in full room, lawyer full room, and among other prominent members of your society. Yeah, I said you, all that they need is to ensure say society functions and government rules well, or any government performs to the betterment of the people of Ghana. These people 31, only one person is decent here. 30 of them. I say there is a prima facie case. Meaning
maybe Council of State or more election over whether there is a prima facie case or not.
Determination of election.
Well, so how much was okay, me said 30 of them. Okay. I can say it means they voted over the matter.
To determine it.
Very well. Or more determination is not made public. He said 30 of them. Echo say now 1 a decent year. Which report is indicating that?
Very well. That is what I have heard.
Yes, see.
Okay, now what's saying?
In fact, let me quote my source. My boss, Hamid Jemfi, said it on Asempa FM. So I'm quoting.
No, because on your Council of State member, Council of State, deliberations are not published. 2 president of Fire, do you think he was doing the presidency and the government good by bringing that information?
Thank you very much. In the same vein, when the Chief Justice requested for the copies of the petition, President Mahama expressed disappointment in her. Leaking the letter already requested for the petition. The letter was leaked in the media before even the president got the copy. Okay. Now, President Mahama has silly copies. of the petition, no handing over a demand the Chief Justice. Fifi Deka etia or can the content of the petition when you know who leak it to him and his MPP. President Muhammad Likiana and now Chief Justice in the Likimano. Oh, now these are the issues that betray the trust.
It's a petition. It's a petition. Akoto president and you claim that the president sent it to the chief, the Council of State sealed.
No,
that's what you said.
No, Bibi, what I'm saying is that the Chief Justice requested a copies of the petition.
Yes.
From Ampeni. The letter on periodical requested copies. No, that letter from the Chief Justice was leaked to the public before the president even got it. But that's what Ampeni wanted.
Let me clarify my. Now, what can American was say? What say of President forwarded the petition sealed to the Council of State?
No, to the Chief Justice when she requested for the copies. That is the point I'm making here.
Okay, so
the Chief Justice requested for copies.
So if the president was the custodian of the petition,
she was asking for 7 days.
So if the president was the custodian of the petition, now Fifi Deka petition ni muasemwa, ehefa ne beli kefi. Because before the Chief Justice requested for copies of it, we were already discussing the content of the petition in the media.
You were discussing it.
It was all over the place. People were talking about it. People were speaking to the contents of before.
Yes. Well, I have no idea.
It's a hidden free.
I have no idea. What I know is that the Chief Justice had requested for the copies of the petition. Omampeni Muhammad Sili, no the man. It was, in fact, it was when the president gave the copy of the petition to the Chief Justice. And Paula Domochere, tutorials, editorials of that, of the petition. Everyone shows so we are here. Oh, and so we can go to the nuances. But baby, a Chief Justice Eddie Asemno Kono, she is not fighting the government or the president or the Council of State.
Who is she fighting?
She is fighting the Constitution itself.
Tell me how.
You see, so kind Article 146 Clause 1.
But you're allowed to fight the Constitution. Fight, I will use fight in quotes. Okay. If you disagree with aspects of the Constitution.
Not too. No problem. But let me quote on one, that's the name and money back. It doesn't matter how many noises are made.
The law is the law. And then me dibusa say, if the law is the law, regardless of any noise, and then our person or colleagues, our motor committee, if they are going to work with the law and you are on the side of the law, what is your fear?
And even it is even more dangerous. So now we'll go to Justin Kudia during or more press conference. Or more demonstration now or more coin. And some are calling that if you touch one,
you touch all.
You touch all. Bibi, for the last time I checked, the Chief Justice is not a member of the MPP. Or executive member of the MPP.
Or ordinary member.
Fine, whatever be the case. I don't think the Chief Justice is the member of the MPP. So why is the MPP, MCM, somewhere very strange and making sense? From the very beginning, she should have insulated herself or advised the MPP to keep themselves away from the issues.
98.9.
You get it? So that
MPP no they advise
very well. Maybe when the matter of her petition first came, Nipa didn't get call with the MPP members. Challenging the process. I am not saying legal you don't have the right. They have the right. But who you are fighting for, if you don't choose your battle carefully, at a given point in time, know that you are not dealing with a dampened society. You are dealing with society here, and you're highly learned, and people have said you common sense to discern between the issues.
Okay.
You get it? Good. Said you see a Malaba Kobo Chrono. Did you just send that in Ekontoka? Are you beneficial of Malaba Chrono?
Maybe I'm a Judintia.
Any GDSM? No, any GDSM.
You come over because no, I see my dad to know soon.
Yes, and when you cover near Nancy Obia and sure fun all corner. When you one way you between him. And no be and then to Chief Justice. No, the NPP started misbehaving when the petition was first sent to the president, and the minister, Honorable Felix, issued letter informing the public, say, petitioner Abani, and the NPP, as we speak, have not been able to tell the people, say, President Mahama, by virtue of action A, B, C, D, were breaching this passage of the Constitution. Is there any one of that kind? No.
There be.
I feel quite said you. To Paul Boo, what dream needs some a few minutes.
Able to point out you.
And then the main kind of saying, so, President Mahama, crown on your third term of the court. Entina, passes Chief Justice. What the Kajan in your President Amindi? What did mean I made an SNDC presidential candidate? So, this kind of allegations, it doesn't fly. And the more you make those claims, the dirty you make the issues. And now, you when people are in court, more try ya alpha. More than come out to the first defense on the Chief Justice. More ya alpha. Now, Mamma Castle in Huajim. Why didn't she begin that by herself in the first place? I'm Minister Tia, me, I wouldn't have a problem. Especially when she has gone to pick a lawyer. A private citizen have petitioned a general legal counsel against him for professional misconduct. A lawyer
in this matter.
In this matter, not in this matter, okay. But on himself as a, how do you call it? A lawyer in the country, invoking at 32, is it at 32, the Legal Professions Act of 19.
And the case of misconduct in a reference to what in particular?
Well, I think the petition
is it the Jackpa matter?
No,
is it the Jackpa matter?
I don't think it's a Jackpa matter. Maybe it may be part of it. But in the Jackpa matter, Attorney General.
But is it not equally intriguing as you ask the questions? Adena Chief Justice, challenge now or mountain and one mountain at the beginning of some processes way. Question is, nipa na ono so dey Godfrey Dame call General Legal Counsel no. The issues of Godfrey Dame came way back. And then our train na Godfrey Dame be Chief Justice lawyer and na work General Legal Counsel.
Well,
why now?
Osanka force be bia whatever. Osu whatever.
There is a principle you establish.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you. Osu whatever. Esiri whatever.
Yeah.
Ya wada ya de wo ni wada ya di. So ahante bia you see sometimes
in Chief Justice no so name this is a time of force I don't
have a problem.
Okay.
I don't have a problem. But the problem I mean one the MPP involvement in this matter.
Okay.
And these are the people mounting the defense on her behalf. It does appear that MPP Odinkan Suma MPP for no say Omon defending no. And because the MPP is losing the battle, she have to show herself. Fine, well sure. But once again, it doesn't matter how many noises are made, the law is the law. But once again, I vehemently object and protest to any attempt by anybody to involve President Mahama in this matter. Not alone the NDC party, because Chief Justice is not an employee of President Mahama. And she doesn't work for NDC. She is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana under Article 125, Chapter 11 of the Constitution. And as the Chief Administrator of the Judiciary, which is the arm of government, and you have the preserve an exclusive right for any Ghanaian at a given point in time to come to any designated constitutional authority, so mandated by law, to present and make a case requiring an investigation into the activity of any state official. Even when necessary, the impeachment of the president. President Mahamun says, as soon as the petition of the Common Council of State, that could also become the ground for removing the president from office. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Are you aware of that? And now, who is the Chief Justice, if I may ask? Is she above the law? And now, so superior. She is the law unto herself. We are in the country governed by the rule of law, not the rule of the Chief Justice. Get it right.
98.
Obia from Nawaha. Someone said President Mahama from a monk be one from saying. Mpeni for on the 24. Oman penin be pacho. say had him afum. Munka President Mahama is humble enough to apologize to the people of Ghana. But there is none. There is none. And Bibi, they make catch and before and say any Ghana for you now and say one in this near bonnet. Number 2, say Chief Justice better on our because President Mahama have no interest in that matter. Okay. Number 3, Ayamra and Juma. Number 4, Obianyo Combe, Nina Yen Chini and Bibia. And so shy Betty Brody Hunafa. And no one has made a mark. Auditor General Global Info Analytics and Probia Basse. One more MPP members over 31%. 1% Chief Justice in the court. Who have a reason for that?
Okay, me that's Global
Info Analytics. Who the question of the coin for that post? No. Or say, if found guilty, should the Chief Justice be made to resign or be sacked?
We said a number of questions. That was not the only question. Yeah, but now why do you dwell on just that?
Ask such a leading question. Who will say no? Of course, if she's found guilty, she'll be ready to go home.
In fact, the Constitution
everybody will accept that.
The Constitution even says, the president shall abide by the recommendations of the committee.
Yes.
It is almost only
who could be a sad leading question.
So why are you blaming the president?
Okay, the question that he asked in his poll, no, NIA problematic. And yes, president. Amaliba. You know, we say Akufo-Addo suspended judges. Then we have this case. They started Mahama time. Anas issue now acquire now judges be or cast or magic bribes. No? Those 4 judges. No.
Okay.
I don't know. You
are aware of that.
Of course. I don't know. It didn't start in Akufo-Addo's time. By the time Akufo-Addo died, not just today. No matter who courts ni ama machuma na abeto so say. Committee not nasi. Atro masem no so say look. Video they buy then you be show say am for Jim Ponchini ade no. Anya dey betumi am matena. And the committee recommended say what did you want him to say?
He had to comply.
Yes, but Amaliba he was making the thing look as if say omo yo juma ena president say omo kofi.
But that's what I'm saying.
What say are you aware the president suspended
the suspension happened on Mampine Akufo-Addo?
But he was not
but it is not like
omo
will choose to suspend.
Exactly what I'm saying is
the Constitution is clear.
Exactly.
To send
Bibi put it right.
To send the President Mahama suspended Chief Justice.
Yes.
He, according to Article 146, once a prima facie case is established against you, he has to suspend you.
Fine, Bibi.
There are people who have been suspended.
Let's take
they were suspended in 2016. February 2016. Let's suspend them.
Let's assume it's an election day. Yatuaba. President Mahama is no longer the president. But the president has started. No, the president has started.
Yes.
A new president taking over. Now the continuation.
Yes.
Yes. And the continuation of the constitution process. The law is the law.
But you don't put it as if it was the president who did it.
You don't personalize it.
I am personalizing it.
That's what he said.
Well, see, is he aware Akufo-Addo suspended?
Who has suspended them?
But they were suspended even before he came. They were suspended before he came.
How did they get suspended? How did they get suspended?
They practiced the
personalization of the law, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Makacho said they
the point. He used that to buttress the point.
No.
And John Mahama, and yet different from what has previously happened before.
That thing, I'm sure Akufo-Addo being a lawyer, if those facts were placed before him, Chief Justice. In that case, a Chief Justice for at the time,
judges
a Chief Justice and a Chief Justice SATF committee. They can all find command.
I didn't.
So no lawyer no or straight through her or the Council of State straight through. We can't check Council of State.
We Council of State in Kaho.
We don't need Chief Justice.
Yes.
And then Chief Justice we can say we know anybody.
And now, Emrano. President need opinion as to whether a prima facie case is established or not. Only opinion.
Okay.
He must not even read the petition.
Okay.
It is not for him. Won't me find a way.
Okay. Or conveyor belt. Until we had the case will be suspend you be.
I know they are wrong. I know they are wrong.
I can't say Crawford can say you. What bet me am what could dinner China wedding a chicken.
No, Bibi, everyone say you're wrong.
He suspended.
Akufo-Addo suspended
4 judges.
But they were suspended before Akufo-Addo came.
Yes, they were not suspended.
They
before
were.
Akufo-Addo came. You see,
Do you know the year they were suspended?
2018.
Okay, so while you look
February
for
2016,
can we use the rest of the minutes to discuss one topical issue about within the weekend?
Very well. Let me I'll get you the
CD dollar and Hong and you've heard Professor Bob King saying, "Say, you've heard Professor. Are you settled now? 2016.
No, 2016. I'll get it for you.
So Professor Bob King is saying, "Say, the MPP deserves some credit for the CD stabilization."
Who is he?
He's a professor of economics.
From where?
An NDC fanatic.
Or UCC. And who is Professor Bob?
98.9.
Amaleba.
The general secretary and the national chairman of NDC. And my boss.
There be much talk about reasons Emma Sidi Ninya na Hoden. Whilst President Mahama is of the firm belief, say, policies and I yield this results we know. The MPP is also saying say womo ejuma. Dr. Bawumia keeps saying say ubu say this for say policy ban na dey we ba unu come back control. But that is not true because the president has equally said that the gold board exports of gold are year within this short period. And there are a lot of forex about. And no can be partner yenya liquidity na eboa sa nti if gold board is a policy of the NDC, how can Dr. Bawumia ask say policy ba ko ben na lead to side? If you let me listen to you on this one.
So him say yenya NDC for no they are the party that has ruled this nation the most. In fact, from the 70s Omaba as military government. Abe DSwa Samba Rollins time. From military to Rollins, 18 years. And Senator Mills and Soba Kakrana, Ura, Mahama. In no material time within this 20-something years plus, did they have the slightest idea that it was even possible to generate forex through this means. Nobody did that until the great Dr. Mahmoud Mahubia came to this country as a vice president. Of course. Because time all years are there, we know. NDC football na chia na krono na nyomo ye krono na say na Japan dia no pese omo ye na insembebre but na ono ne principle ne say look Ghana ha no ye exports ni so much say ye nya enough forex emba but your gold 98 into your gold I didn't na ye to gold na ye build your reserves na yen export be so enya forex. First and foremost, near the yen fanto oil because that time no na fuel prices they cost we kaya. Em say do 18 cedis per liter cross saying. This is crowd a try 20 cedis mark no per liter. Inti odonyamfo obinfo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia etna se no se do. Ye wo gold wo ha. Abrofo na be fa gold iko. Na ye da so ti ha. Inti ebe ya yen to gold in cedis. Na ye export to the nya dollar na near the OMC no they import to crude aba. Say no be so amono ni no beji gold no be my oil near any sa near the aba no starting or starting or no yen build your reserves because a lot of the countries that we know no omusika is backed by gold and no site Britain say look they have so much gold there. Pound is so strong. It's at the time you started Sano, if I about power no, not from Kwame Nkrumah time to Mahama time. Not your gold reserves near just 8 tons. And your mass could do 30.5 tons. And then they will cut 31. Only less than 1 ton na account. No, see, less than 1 ton no, and they are magic.
Sir, what's ye Samija Finano ya? Or say any gold reserves.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Any gold reserves, as in here, you are reserving a show up the city.
He doesn't know.
Nemum a gold export.
He doesn't know.
Why doesn't he know?
If it's just gold exporter, this kind of impact, yes.
Okay, reserve no reserve dollar.
Yes.
How does that help your currency?
For the countries that have high reserves,
98.9.
it is known. It is a well-established fact. Say currency was true. I didn't know. Say we didn't say British pound no, for all these years. Currency be entering no.
But if they don't trade with the gold,
yes, but it's backing their pound. They didn't say pound in the highest.
Say gold is not sitting down.
It is there. It's sitting down. Reserves say what? Huge reserves.
The gold in the tie hold on.
Yes. To say
how is it?
Say obia. Obobesia. Na ana say obabesia wo ho. Now names of gold would fee. Akwa with your gold. It wouldn't so obobesia grade about the bit about critical or gold wo ho. Enti no oni nipa say dealer. You sure say interest rate in yama de beba no kra no will be lower than
so gold reserves no Emma will look attractive. Okay, fine.
Yes.
But what this government is saying is gold reserves in Kun and a gold export in Kun. Effect who dollar no so no. More dollars are about of economy because of gold or makoto. That's different from the reserves you have.
More dollars na buy no. Buy any that's what 8 tons now. Can you who's a drastic movie? What you say? Because you start here no. Near say ton gold sa Saturday or 8 tons.
Na mo cotton.
Near cotton. Ya cotton ba enya forex. Into some of the big companies no. If they need forex for a repatriation, you cotton gold. You join mu see this no. You cotton gold na more. Near the forex na be share system ni. But because your tonnage no low into no. Sansi kane sape na ho asa chiro. Into per lasting solution say we increase the reserves no. What you say? That's what we've done. Into almost share that in any case no. Well him say financial strategy be abe taking no. Enye immediate sir. It take it time, build it gradually. Into share after 2024 elections, no, na city no, I stable kakra, nijina fa konsa. Because that time, number first no,
98.9.
na reserves near high, it's nijina fa kon. In kakra, into almost only kakra be source no.
That's it.
And I'm gonna do baby edu. Into enyo mu asem.
All right, Ebi, Empo.
Yeah, Bibi.
Yes, sir.
Wonim,
Ebi so kan.
Bodam ni bi na nkwala post to mu kofie. Na nko hye no mfikire. Na nso school for time you dance group sa ye class ne se bi in class say nkronkito ne in class se mu. Ono tunjum di na chi. Bodam ni oh no bonjum na kwala no di na chi sana. Mama be say nkwala. Nso pe wa bodam na mo tunjum di na chi. Obabo mu. Mama ne twa nani a o se mama adna asem yi wo hinsa. Edam na ye wo no abo.
Who person say?
Fans na ya wodia. Nkola we mu hume. Enti MB before we no come on ntum. Na Mahama nje fans. Akwa bi atwa bibi wo ne ka achi. Say we never thought of this. But still Mahama is better than that man.
Happy FM.
Yeah, you say we see. But Mahama is better than that man. But Papa
he said they BC.
Bibi meba ho for the record. Akufo-Addo sacked 3 judges. Refer K to CID. That is Monday, 17 December 2018. In the Akufo-Addo sacked the judges. Whatever the process came from, he sacked them. But Bibi,
I thought we were arguing about the year of suspension.
Signal someone here came. Alaji Muhammadu Baumia say Mahama here then and all this city akosro. They said they were breaking the 8 and I'm what was some of the reasons I got for just to abetia omo? The economy. Signal nkan. Alaji Muhammadu Baumia say so we see the no award the echo for moi me hwe chire kra the fundamentals. When the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Yeah.
And here in the Mampino Kufuado Kombe Casa, what the Mampini, Nebedi Chile by our MPP. When Mama deny a hat or your economist. About the same Mukoti Nipa 31. So we investigated the city. About the same. If the MPP had the magic one to bring the city down to where we are today, for them to win the elections, couldn't they have done it? More from cameras. In fact, Your team was doing well. You know, Mushaya, Kokom Ai, Abosho Kai. No less than 2 occasions before the elections. And I was a panel member on your show. One of the Christ Abosho came for a super the dollar city ratio. And the effect of any business.
I'm now,
oh, and the baby. Near Akofa winning now, but say, every people in Tiromontin, you will go for reserve. That program have been initiated long ago. MPP the 22 tons ever count in just 2 years. That is true. But baby, I asked me kuta my phones. In fact, I say my phone like 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now my phone trotro, me misika obe botu. Trotros we say, basa ma misika desi form. O 10,000 Ghana cedis phones the crowd no, edi na yamano. He needs his money. Unless I am able to sell the phones and convert them into fiscal cash and pay the trotro driver, I won't get down. And the fiscal gold, the good them have nothing to do with the city. Near yes, and a gold for forex policy, good for forex and good for forex. No, unlike the previous times, are not some individuals at gold at Timishapo, you were relying on Crofua or Moto Gold, no more Shepo or more Shepuya. Yes, within 3 days, Musika was about back to Bank of Ghana. Now they support a foreign reserve. No, they were not doing it. But I'm Penny Mahama Bayano, what PMMC led by Sami Jemfi and the Abe Gold Board were consolidating some money now and Abe Gufako. And the only PMMC Gold Board now and the to gold or moto they shape it on behalf of the government of Ghana and to the Bank of Ghana. Sikaneba within 3 days a Bank of Ghana. Okay. Within the last 2 months, you had over 2 to almost $3 billion, $2.7 billion. Abba. So demand and supply, no, we have been able to meet the market demand. And the dollar here they ever from no.
And on that note,
we say bedroom 10.82.
Mapong.
Make natural say by next week. No matter if you cry, you have to 50 pesos. Remember, there be about 50 pesos.
Haruna Amaleba is his name. Fifi Deka is also his name. Midibesi Anoma do bibia se medam team na say Reynald Yao Ajeman aka the Mask. Next weekend, Saturday, beba next week, you know, ye kwakusie ne papa e Kumase Donyina. Inti adofo ne ejam fo mo beka ye ho na ye nkoboa ye nue na won kra akra echi. Next week Saturday 31st May and ye corner ye nua Mask akusu Kumase abomo. Meda the rest of the team as Joyce and also Mrs. Abigail Fiancon. Bidin Bismark Brown, meda si bebrese na watch you ni asum Ghana mine. Nyame adomo a. Eduada hesen shape yemwe. Enjoy your weekend and ensure say you stay safe. Let's meet in one piece and not in pieces. Up next, the news.
Your property holds the power to transform your future. Welcome to Eclipse Collateral Management,